Chapter 3147. Are you threatening me now? Lin Xian shot a glance at the other party and said coolly. Gao Ping knows him, right? Heard of the Nether King, right? The two of them don't dare to be arrogant in front of me. Who do you think you are? The moment these words came out, everyone was directly scared silly. Many people even rolled their eyes. In their view, Lin Xian was seriously too arrogant. Moreover, the more arrogant he was, the more unreasonable it became. Who was Gao Peng? That was Return Cloud Planet's pinnacle batch of Heaven's Pride powerhouses. That was someone who comprehended power close to Tao. That kind of person was absolutely high above. Most likely, all of the geniuses in their entire Great Hall added up could not compare to one of his fingers. And the Nether King was even more terrifying. In a short few days, he swept through Return Cloud Planet, suppressing everyone until they could not raise their heads. Even Gao Peng was defeated at the other party's hands. If not for the appearance of a mysterious Lin Wudi, probably no one would be able to suppress the Nether King right now. These two people, it was impossible for Chen Ruffing to know them, but he definitely heard of them before. In front of such an existence, he probably did not even have the possibility of resisting. Except, regarding Lin Xian's words, he did not believe it at all. Such a Heaven's Pride would fear this youth in front of him? What a joke. Brat, didn't expect that you're actually so reckless. Since you're courting death, I can fulfill your wish. Seeing that you're an itinerant cultivator, you shouldn't know my identity, right? Let me tell you, I Chen Rufeng, am the Chen family's eldest young master. My current realm is the Great Circle of 9 stars. Furthermore, I just turned 100 years old. My strength is even more powerful. In the same rank, few are my match. Even those older generation figures are inferior to me too. Before long, I'll comprehend power close to Tao and reach half-sage realm. And at that time, I'm very likely only around 500 years old. Do you think that you have the qualifications to contend with me? Hearing these words, everyone fell silent. It was indeed so. Chen Ruffing was like Gao Ping back then. After 400 to 500 years, he could absolutely comprehend power close to Tao. That way he would be the next Gao Peng. In the future, he could also slaughter his way onto the ancient starry sky path. Such a Heaven's Pride, they could not afford to provoke. This itinerant cultivator in front of them was simply reckless. Nailing Yinran, Feng Hao, and Qingqing were also extremely nervous. Although they knew that Lin Xian was so powerful that even the Bloody Blade King was afraid of him, they still didn't know how powerful he was. However, the Bloody Blade Monarch was nothing in front of Chen Rufeng. The two sides were not on the same level. Therefore, they were now worried about Lin Xian. Lin Xian, however, had a look of disdain on his face. Only after a few hundred years would one be able to comprehend a power that was close to the Tao? Such a person was too trashy. After all, he had already comprehended 2 powers that were close to the Tao. Shaking his head, Lin Xian was disappointed. I originally thought you were some sort of genius, but I didn't expect that you would need several hundred years to catch my eye. The difference was too great. If your Chen clan's patriarch was here, he might barely be able to talk to me. Courting death. Brat, you have thoroughly infuriated me. How dare you provoke my Chen family? What kind of status did the patriarch of the Chen clan have? How dare the other party be so arrogant? Chen Ruffing took a step forward, and his aura erupted like a volcano. A terrifying light shrouded the entire space. Everyone was trembling in fear. It was over. Chen Ruffing was enraged. It would be difficult to calm a top genius like him down. Perhaps the brat opposite him would be skinned alive. As Chen Ruffing's aura erupted, the array formation of the Tianfeng Pavilion was completely activated. Countless figures gathered here. At the same time, an old man descended from the sky. Who was this? How dare he make a move in the Tianfeng Pavilion? It was the Pavilion Guardian Elder of the Tianfeng Pavilion. Countless people screamed. This was a big shot of the Tianfeng Pavilion. The forces behind the Tianfeng Pavilion were complicated and terrifying. Even Chen Ruffling did not dare to be too presumptuous. The surrounding martial artists were even more shocked. They did not even dare to breathe loudly when they saw the old man. Chen Ruffling also retracted his aura and nodded at the old man. I am Chen Ruffling of the Chen clan. So it's young Master Chen. The pavilion guardian elder smiled. Who dared to provoke young Master Chen? The pavilion guardian elder's attitude caused a huge commotion in the surrounding people's eyes. Chen Rufeng's followers sneered. Did you see that? This was their young Master Chen. Even the pavilion guardian elder had to give him face. The others were shocked. Chen Rufeng's identity was so terrifying. He would definitely be dead. Qingqing, Feng Hao and Nalin Yanren's expressions changed drastically. Oh no, young Master Lin, why don't we leave? Yeah, there's nothing to attend in the Tianfeng Pavilion. Why don't we go out for a gathering? The three of them naturally wanted to drag Lin Xian away. After all, the current situation was extremely unfavorable for Lin Xian. Chen Rufeng took the lead and fixed his gaze on the few of them. He pointed at Lin Xian and said coldly, "This guy provoked me and even dared to attack the people around me. He has completely broken the rules of the Tianfeng Pavilion. More importantly, he's just a rogue cultivator." Brother Tianfeng invited the top geniuses of the big clans. What right does a rogue cultivator like him have to come in? The pavilion protector elder frowned as soon as he said that. The guards beside him also emitted cold light as countless auras locked onto Lin Xian. The people around him were already trembling. However, the pavilion guardian elder frowned. The guards he brought were all elites. In addition to his aura, even a 9-star king would be scared to death. However, Lin Xian was still calm and composed. He didn't panic at all. This was unbelievable. This guy wasn't simple. However, so what if he wasn't simple? The Tianfeng Pavilion had never been afraid of anyone. More importantly, Lin Xian had offended Chen Rufeng. Therefore, the pavilion guardian elder quickly stood on Chen Rufeng's side. He asked coldly, "Young master, which clan are you from? Can you show me your identity?" "I'm a rogue cultivator." "You don't have to ask." Lin Xian said indifferently. "What? He's really a rogue cultivator." Hearing Lin Xian admit it, the surrounding people were in an uproar. The corners of Chen Rufeng's mouth curled up into a cold smile. Since the other party had taken the initiative to admit it, then things would be easier. Humph. The pavilion guardian elder's face was gloomy. How dare a rogue cultivator cause trouble in the Tianfeng Pavilion? How dare a rogue cultivator barge into the Tianfeng Pavilion and disturb the order of the Tianfeng Pavilion in public? Men, take him down. The pavilion guardian elder roared angrily. 6 martial artists walked over and surrounded Lin Xian with their long sabers clanging. Seeing this, Feng Hao pulled out his long sword. Who dared to touch Brother Lin? Lin Xian was his savior. Now that Lin Xian was in trouble, he naturally had to help. Qingqing's face was pale. However, she sighed and didn't leave. Perhaps her presence here could make Tianfeng Pavilion fear her. Chapter 3148. Bloody Blade Monarch? Many people's expressions changed when they heard that. However, Chen Rufeng and the pavilion guardian elder looked disdainful. They didn't care about the Bloody Blade Monarch. Even if the Bloody Blade Monarch came personally, he wouldn't dare to be impudent in front of them. Kid, is this your trump card? Bloody Blade Monarch? That's scary. Let me tell you, even the Bloody Blade Monarch has to bow down in front of me. You wouldn't dare to provoke me. Provoking me is the biggest mistake you've made in your life. Chen Rufeng revealed a devilish smile. Don't worry, I won't kill you easily. I'll let you know the consequences of offending me. I'll let you know what it means to wish you were dead. Chen Rufeng laughed loudly. The pavilion guardian elder shouted coldly, "Take him away." No, you can't move. Feng Hao and Qingqing went forward but were beaten back. They weren't a match for these experts at all. Nalin Yanran also stood in front of Lin Xian, but she was still restrained by the array. The strength of the Tianfeng Pavilion wasn't something they could contend against. The surrounding people looked at this scene and sneered. This brat really didn't know what was good for him. First, he offended young Master Chen. Now he dared to offend the Tianfeng Pavilion. If he offended one of them, he would be dead. If he offended 2 of them, it wouldn't be easy even if he wanted to die. While they were discussing, the 6 experts had already surrounded Lin Xian and locked him in place. Lin Xian didn't care at all. A cold light flashed in his eyes. These people dared to attack him? In that case, he didn't mind tearing down the entire Tianfeng pavilion. Then he would forcefully take away the pill cauldron. In the sky, 6 large palms covered the sky and grabbed at Lin Xian. A great battle was about to break out. However, at this moment, a cold voice was heard from afar. Who dares to attack? As soon as the voice was heard, the array changed rapidly and instantly pierced through the 6 large palms in the sky. At the same time, rays of light surrounded Lin Xian and protected him. This shocking change made everyone dumbfounded. Chen Rufeng was stunned, but the pavilion protecting elder frowned. What was going on? There was someone who could use the array? Who was it? He was a member of Tianfeng Pavilion. I want to see who dares to stop me. In the next moment, he turned his head to look, and the others followed suit. But soon they were stunned. That was because they saw a beautiful blue-clothed woman walking over from afar. At this moment, there was a trace of coldness and killing intent on his face. The pavilion protector elder was originally very angry, but when he saw this young woman, his body trembled and his expression changed instantly. Second miss, why are you here? Although he was the pavilion guardian elder of Tianfeng Pavilion, and had great strength, he was only in Tianfeng Pavilion. Even the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion had to be extremely respectful to him, because the person who came was the second daughter of the Qi family. Although their brother Tianfeng was powerful, he was just one of the businesses under the Qi family. The second miss could be said to be his master. Although he didn't fear the second young mistress with his strength as a pavilion guardian elder, what about the Qi clan behind him? Any expert elder would be able to kill him. Therefore, the pavilion guardian elder didn't dare to be impudent in front of the second miss at all. Second miss? What second miss? The surrounding people were stunned. Many of them didn't know her, because their status wasn't high enough. Chen Rufeng's expression changed and he quickly cupped his fists with a smile. So it's the second miss of the Qi family. Chen Rufeng. We've met once before. What? The second miss of the Qi family. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people gasped. They didn't expect the second miss of the Qi family to be here. Behind Tianfeng Pavilion was the Qi family. The second miss of the Qi family was equivalent to the master of Tianfeng Pavilion. Even the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion had to bow to her. They didn't expect such a powerful figure to be here. Everyone was amazed. Although they were disciples of large families, they were much more insignificant compared to the Qi family. Chen Rufeng had a smile on his face that he thought was handsome, but his mind was racing. In terms of appearance, the second miss of the Qi family was even better than Nailin Yanran. Her status was far above Nailin Yanran's. If he could get his hands on such a woman, then his status and strength would change drastically in the future. Therefore, Chen Rufeng's heart was burning. He even wanted to walk up to the second miss of the Qi family. But the next moment he was stunned, because he found that the second miss of the Qi family didn't pay attention to him at all. She didn't even look at him. Instead, she went directly to Lin Xian's side and asked carefully and anxiously, "Young Master Lin, are you all right? Are you hurt?" What? This scene was like a sudden clap of thunder that stunned everyone. Why was the second miss of the Qi family so nervous? Moreover, he was so careful, and even had a trace of respect. Heavens, who the hell is this kid? Previously, they thought that Lin Xian was just an itinerant cultivator who sneaked in secretly. But now they were suspicious. How could an itinerant cultivator make the second miss of the Qi family so respectful? Chen Rufeng was stunned and his face turned ugly. The guards of Tianfeng Pavilion felt their scalps go numb. The pavilion guardian elder's pupils shrank. The surrounding people were in an uproar. At this moment, the few young martial artists behind Chen Rufeng couldn't stand it anymore and said anxiously, "Second miss, this guy is a liar. He injured us and disregarded the rules of Tianfeng Pavilion. He's about to be arrested. Second miss, you must punish him severely." That's right. Chen Rufeng also took out a folding fan and waved it gently. There were endless runes on the folding fan. At first glance, one could tell that it was a top-grade magic treasure. This guy has indeed disrupted the order of Tianfeng Pavilion. I'm catching him with the pavilion guardian elder. I didn't expect second miss to come. It's really Before he finished, Chi Siyu turned her head coldly and shouted coldly, "Shut up." Chen Rufing's hand froze in midair. The smile on his face instantly turned ugly. A cold murderous intent emerged in his heart. She dared to scold him? No one had ever dared to scold him like this. But in an instant, his murderous intent quickly disappeared. She was the second miss of the Qi family. He didn't dare to attack her. Second miss. The pavilion guardian elder wanted to say something, but Chi Siyu's eyes emitted a piercing light as she stared at him. "How dare you attack young Master Lin? Kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistake." "What?" The pavilion guardian elder was stunned, and so were the surrounding guards. Everyone was stunned. Chi Siyu's voice was still echoing. "Young Master Lin is an honored guest of the Qi family. Even the patriarch of the Qi family has to treat him with respect." Chapter 3149. Plop. 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 Upon hearing this, Elder Gu and the other guards all knelt on the ground, their bodies trembling. Nailin Yanran, Qingqing, and Feng Hao were all stunned. The rest of the people's minds went blank, unable to react. What's going on? Isn't this kid a loose cultivator? Oh my god, he's actually an honored guest of the Qi family. This is going to be interesting. That's right. The pavilion elder of the Tianfeng Pavilion had actually angered their master's honored guest. Many people looked as if they were watching a good show, but even more people were shocked. They stared at Lin Xian, wanting to see clearly what this guy was. Nailin Yanran, Feng Hao, and Qingqing were also stunned. To be honest, this scene was like a dream to them. Suddenly, they recalled what had happened at the Thousand Herb Hall a few months ago. The Bloody Blade Monarch had been so powerful that he had even wanted to kill them. However, in the end he had still groveled and followed Lin Xian. This scene was so familiar. Now the Tianfeng Pavilion and the Qi family were all standing respectfully beside Lin Xian. These people were much stronger than the Bloody Blade Monarch. However, they were still no match for Lin Xian. Lin Xian was too mysterious in their eyes. When Chi Siyu saw the pavilion protector elders and the surrounding guards kneeling, she respectfully walked to Lin Xian's side and spoke carefully. "These people don't know the rules and offended young Master Lin. I hope young Master Lin can forgive them. Young Master Lin, you can punish these people as you wish. The Qi family will definitely satisfy young Master Lin." The pavilion elder and the others were trembling, while the rest were shocked. Let Lin Xian punish them as he wished? If Lin Xian wanted to kill them, wouldn't it be a piece of cake? At this thought, they were shocked again. It seemed that they had underestimated Lin Xian's status. Chi Siyu's face was cold, but her heart was filled with anger. Damn it, this bunch of trash. If she had come a little later, she would have been killed. Perhaps Lin Xian was about to make his move. Regardless of whether Lin Xian was injured or frightened, what happened next would be difficult. After all, the Qi family needed Lin Xian's help. This was because only Lin Xian could heal their patriarch's injuries. If they angered Lin Xian wouldn't treat their patriarch. If that was the case, their old ancestor would not be able to cure him. If that happened, their clan's patriarch might die. That kind of loss was something that the Qi family could not bear. After all, that was a half-saint. Fortunately, she had arrived in time and the worst-case scenario had not happened. Now it could still be remedied. Lin Xian stood there, gently swirling the wine glass in his hand. His expression was calm, as if he was not affected at all. To be honest, even if Chi Siyu didn't come, these people from Tianfeng Square wouldn't be enough to take him down with one hand. However, since Chi Siyu was here, things would be easier to handle. He said calmly, "The second miss of the Qi family is here. How can I, a guest, deal with this? I think it's better for the Qi family to handle this matter." "Alright, young Master Lin, I know what to do." Chi Siyu turned around and stared at the pavilion protector elder, and the guards in front of her. Her cold voice rang out. "Cripple everyone's arms and expel them from Tianfeng Pavilion. If anyone else dares to provoke young Master Lin, kill them without mercy." The cold killing intent reverberated in the main hall. The entire void couldn't bear it. In front of them, the pavilion protector elder and the guards were trembling. However, they heaved a sigh of relief in their hearts. Fortunately, they were able to keep their lives. Young Master Lin, what do you think? Qi Siyu asked softly. Lin Xian nodded slightly. What he wanted wasn't their deaths, but their attitude. He was Lin Wudi, a top genius who had trampled the Netherworld King under his feet at Tianqiong Peak. How could these ants provoke him? An expert should have the dignity of an expert. A genius should have the pride of a genius. Otherwise, what was the point of cultivating and pursuing the peak of martial arts? After settling the internal affairs of Tianfeng Pavilion, Qi Siyu looked at Chen Rufeng and his followers and frowned slightly. Chen Rufeng wasn't a member of Tianfeng Pavilion. Although the Qi family was powerful, the Chen family wasn't a small family. Therefore, she couldn't go overboard. Qi Siyu said coldly. As for you, Tianfeng Pavilion doesn't welcome you. Please leave. Chen Rufeng's expression changed, and the surrounding people were in an uproar. Was she trying to chase them out? How could the eldest young master of the Chen family be chased out? Chen Rufeng's face darkened, and he was trembling with anger. If this were to spread, he would definitely become a joke. This was a blatant slap to his face. I'm the young master of the Chen family. Chen Rufeng gritted his teeth. Qi Siyu snorted coldly. Young Master Chen, do you choose to walk out yourself or be chased out by us? At the end of her sentence, a wisp of cold killing intent appeared on her body again. Humph. Chen Rufeng snorted and his expression changed dozens of times. In the end, he gritted his teeth and waved his hand. Let's go. He had no choice. The Chen family couldn't compete with the Qi family. Moreover, the second miss of the Qi family was like a little princess in the Qi family. He couldn't afford to offend her. However, he would remember today's grudge. One day he would return the favor. And that Lin Xian. When he left, he took a deep look at Lin Xian with a wisp of cold killing intent in his eyes. After returning, he would thoroughly investigate this kid's identity. If there was a chance, he wouldn't hesitate to take action and even send the family's experts to kill him. It was because of Chen Rufeng that he was so embarrassed today. Initially, Lin Xian didn't care about this little ant. However, when Chen Rufeng looked at him with a wisp of cold killing intent, Lin Xian's face darkened. Wait a minute, he said coldly. Hearing this, Chen Rufeng and his followers stopped in their tracks. What are you trying to do? Chen Rufeng didn't say anything, but the followers around him roared angrily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Did I say you could leave? Damn it, don't you go too far. The followers around him screamed crazily. Chen Rufeng's face was also terrifyingly dark. He said coldly, kid, get this straight. I'm from the Chen family. Although the Chen family isn't as powerful as the Qi family, it's still a big family. Also, the people around me are the top disciples of the big families. If you provoke us, you won't have a good ending. Lin Xian smiled. You still dare to threaten me? You're just an ant in my eyes. I don't need to fight you. However, you've repeatedly released your killing intent towards me. I'm afraid you're going to send the family's experts to assassinate me when you return, right? How can I let a person like you live? When he said that, a wisp of cold light burst out from his eyes and enveloped the entire area. Chapter 3150. That aura was too terrifying. Previously, they thought that it was because of the appearance of the second daughter of the Qi family. In their opinion, Lin Xian might not be strong. But now they were very wrong. Lin Xian merely released a wisp of aura, and it pressured all of them to the point of being unable to breathe. Such a person was definitely a top genius. No wonder the Qi family valued him so much. Chen Rufeng's expression also changed, but then he sneered. Why? Do you dare to attack me? I'm not from the Tianfeng Pavilion. Speaking of this, he stood proudly with his hands behind his back with a sneer in his eyes. He did not believe that Lin Xian would dare to attack him. If he did not see Qi Siyu, he would have to think twice before making a move on him. Qi Siyu said in a low voice, Mr. Lin, Chen Rufeng's identity is not ordinary. Even I can't touch him easily. Don't worry. This time, I don't need the Qi family's power. I'll deal with him myself. Lin Xian strode over. Seeing this scene, Qi Siyu was stunned and then quickly followed. She almost forgot how terrifying Lin Xian's strength was. Not only was he an alchemist who could cure the patriarch's poison, but he also killed the demonic thunder ape with one finger. His strength was definitely top-notch. Although Chun Ruffing was powerful, he was probably not Lin Xian's match. Thinking of this, she heaved a sigh of relief. As long as Lin Xian's life was not in danger, he could deal with whatever happened next. What do you want? Do you dare to attack us? The young men around Chun Ruffing covered their faces with their hands. They were also furious. They had given Qi Siyu face before, but they did not expect Lin Xian to be so aggressive and even attack them. So what if they released their killing intent? They did not take Lin Xian seriously at all. Therefore, a few arrogant people directly jumped out. Are your hands cold? Let's see if you dare to attack me. Before they could finish, a big golden hand slapped the 5 of them to the ground with a bang. This time, Lin Xian used a little of his strength. The 5 of them were badly mutilated, and only their heads were intact. Ah! The 5 of them screamed miserably. His shattered body attempted to reassemble itself, but as soon as it did, it was crushed by a massive foot once more. His body was torn to pieces, and his blood turned into a sea of blood that surged in the surroundings. The terrifying scene caused countless people to scream in fear. And the rest of you? As he spoke, Lin Xian waved his hand and grabbed another 4 people. Their bodies were completely destroyed, leaving only their heads behind. 9 people were screaming miserably on the ground. Their flesh and blood were a mess. Everyone was stunned. Even Chun Ruffing's eyes widened in disbelief. Although these 9 people's statuses were not as high as his, they were still disciples of large clans. If one of them was alone, he might not be afraid, but if the 9 of them were together, even he would not dare to act rashly. However, the other party actually shattered it without any hesitation. How could the other party dare to do that? Was the other party not afraid of the revenge of these great families? The others were also stunned, but when they saw that Qi Siyu was still there, they shook their heads slightly. With the Qi family around, perhaps only Lin Xian dared to be so arrogant. As expected, the disciples of the 9 great clans screamed, "Damn brat, we will definitely not let you off." That's right, even the Qi family can't protect you if the 9 of us join forces. Just you wait to suffer the wrath of the 9 great clans. Qi family protect me? Lin Xian laughed. Looks like you guys are really ignorant. Let me tell you, I, Lin Xian, don't need the Qi family's protection. Not to mention you guys. Even if the 9 great clans dare to provoke me again, I will destroy all of you. At this point, a golden light appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, the 9 heads exploded, and even their souls were directly destroyed. The sea of blood between heaven and earth also fell and scattered in all directions. The disciples of the 9 great clans were no longer breathing. What? Dead. Everyone was so scared that they almost peed their pants. Being severely injured and being killed were 2 different concepts. By doing so, Lin Xian was directly making the 9 great clans his enemy. Even the Qi family wouldn't dare to do so easily. As expected, Qi Siyu's expression also changed. However, Lin Xian said coldly, "I've said it before, today's matter has nothing to do with the Qi family. If there's anything, just look for me. I will definitely take it." As he spoke, Lin Xian turned and stared at Chun Ruffing. Chun Ruffing's pupils shrank. In the next moment, his expression became extremely ugly. He didn't expect Lin Xian to dare to kill the 9 of them directly. "Brat, you have completely offended the 9 great clans. Just wait for the wrath of the 9 great clans." Chun Ruffing laughed coldly. "Alright, don't use the 9 great clans to pressure me. I don't care about them. Since you dare to release your killing intent towards me, you will have to suffer my wrath." "You?" Chun Ruffing laughed coldly. "If it wasn't for the Qi family, do you think I would be afraid of you?" Indeed, although Lin Xian's strength was strong, Chun Ruffing didn't care about it. After all, he was at the perfection stage of the 9 stars great perfection stage. If he wanted to kill the people around him, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. "Don't worry, you don't have to worry about the Qi family. Just do whatever you want as long as you can kill me. Of course, you have to think carefully about the consequences of attacking me. Now kneel down and admit your mistake. I can let you live. Since you want to die, then don't blame me." Chun Ruffing snorted coldly. The energy in his body instantly erupted. With a loud bang, a terrifying aura pressed down, causing the surrounding people to retreat quickly. The Tianfeng Pavilion's formation was also activated. It's over. That brat is too arrogant. Yes, although he is strong, how can he be Chen Rufing's opponent? Indeed, young Master Chen is at the perfection stage of the 9 stars great perfection stage. Although this brat is strong, he is definitely not young Master Chen's opponent. Voices of discussion rang out. They felt that Lin Xian was simply too arrogant. Without the protection of the Qi family, how can this brat be Chen Rufing's opponent? As expected, Nailin Yan ran, Qingqing, and Feng Hao became nervous. Qi Siyu, on the other hand, was not nervous at all. She had seen Lin Xian's strength with her own eyes in the dark swamp. Since Chen Rufing wants to die, then let's teach him a lesson. In front of him, a cold murderous intent appeared in Chen Rufing's eyes. He decided to use thunder to kill his opponent. That way, he could vent the hatred in his heart. At that time, even if the Qi family wanted to punish him, he had the Chen family's protection. The Qi family would definitely not stand up for a dead person. At the thought of this, the fan in his hand exploded with a terrifying light. Runes intertwined in the sky, emitting a terrifying aura. The entire sky cracked rapidly, causing countless large cracks to appear. Boom. He waved the treasured fan in his hand and slammed it forward. Suddenly, the treasured fan expanded with the wind and directly swept across the sky, shattering the entire sky. The sky-shattering fan was a top-grade Dharma treasure. Someone screamed. Chapter 3151. It's over. This kid is definitely dead. With Chen Rufing's strength and Broken Mountain, even a great perfection 9-star cultivator would not be able to withstand it. What? He's that powerful? Everyone's expression changed drastically. Feng Hao exclaimed, "Brother Lin, dodge." Boom. Boom. The heaven-shattering fan descended from the sky with an endless murderous aura. The entire sky was trembling, and countless voids were shattering with rumbling sounds. In an instant, it enveloped Lin Xian. Haha, go to hell, kid. Chen Rufing revealed a ferocious expression. This time, he did not hold back at all. Umph. You're just an ant. Lin Xian sneered. In the face of such a terrifying attack, he only stretched out a palm and grabbed in front of him. The palm was extremely heavy, but there was no light flickering. Seeing this scene, everyone shook their heads and sighed. This kid is really courting death. Yes, if he dodged, he might be able to dodge this attack. However, he chose to overestimate himself and take the attack head-on. He would probably be smashed into a bloody pulp in an instant. Amidst everyone's mockery, the two collided. In the next moment, something shocking happened. The terrifying heaven-shattering fan was directly grabbed and then broken in half with a crack. That simple and unadorned palm pierced through all energy. Nothing could stop it. That's impossible. The surrounding people went crazy. Broken Mountain was broken. What kind of palm is that? Chen Rufing's pupils constricted. He felt as if he was not facing a palm, but a true dragon that was firmly locking him in place. Damn it, retreat. His expression became extremely ugly, and he was scared out of his wits. I was careless. My opponent is actually a physique tempering expert. Moreover, his physique was so strong that he could not imagine it. Retreat. Go. He did not dare to fight such a person in close combat. However, just as his body swayed, a palm grabbed his head. Damn it, get lost. Chen Rufing roared angrily. Countless runes erupted from his body, and a terrifying force soared into the sky. Lin Xian's body was instantly covered in battle armor, and his terrifying king's domain transformed into a huge mountain that quickly pressed down. He wanted to shatter Lin Xian's palm. However, all of this was futile. Lin Xian's palm lightly trembled, and his opponent's king's domain shattered. The other party's armor was filled with countless cracks and shattered into pieces. In the next moment, Chen Rufing was pressed down by a palm and knelt on the ground. With a clang, a thunderous sound rang out, and the ground cracked open. The surrounding array dimmed, as if it could not withstand this power. What? Chen Rufing was defeated. In just one move, Chen Rufing was pressed to the ground. The surrounding people went crazy. They couldn't believe it. That was Chen Rufing, a 9-star great perfection cultivator, who had a top-notch artifact. How powerful was such a person? But in front of Lin Xian he was as weak as an ant. Damn it, how is this possible? I don't believe it. Chen Ruffing screamed like a madman. He knelt on the ground, his body trembling. Get lost! With a roar, he used his secret technique. Violent power erupted once again, trying to break free from Lin Xian's palm. However, in the next moment, with a bang, his body was torn into pieces. Ah! A black light appeared from his broken body and rushed towards Lin Xian like a dragon. It was a flying sword the size of a palm. As soon as it appeared, it carried a violent aura and shook the power of heaven and earth. Obviously, it was a very terrifying forbidden weapon. Boom! In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian only waved his palm. Instantly, the flying sword was sent flying. The black flying sword was covered in cracks. This scene happened too quickly. It was so fast that the surrounding people were unable to react in time. Chen Ruffling was so scared that he peed his pants. How was that possible? How terrifying was that forbidden weapon? It could kill a 9-star Great Perfection cultivator in an instant. However, it was shattered by Lin Xian's palm. Who was that person? Could it be that he had surpassed the 9-star Great Perfection? Impossible. He would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. In the next moment, a hint of madness appeared in his eyes. A red cauldron rushed out from between his eyebrows and enveloped his head. Humph! He revealed a ferocious expression. Damn it, go to hell. Boom! The small black sword that was full of cracks exploded with a bang. The terrifying power engulfed Lin Xian. Oh no! Seeing that scene, Qi Siyu's expression also changed. The surrounding people also retreated crazily. The Tianfeng Pavilion's formation was activated. Countless rays of light shrouded in all directions, protecting them. However, even with that being the case, the entire spirit formation was still fluctuating violently. Cracks had even appeared in many places. It could not be helped. The explosion of a forbidden weapon was absolutely terrifying. An invincible challenger could not stop it at all. Countless people trembled when they saw that scene. It's over. That kid is dead meat. No matter how strong he was, he could not stop that destructive energy. No one below the half-step saint could stop it. Young Master Lin. Qi Siyu's expression also changed. She wanted to control the formation to break the energy in front of her. However, at that moment a cold voice sounded. The explosion of a forbidden weapon? Is that your trump card? How pitifully weak. What? Everyone was stunned when they heard that voice. In front of them, the endless energy was torn apart by a pair of large hands. Then Lin Xian walked out. He did not suffer any injuries. There was not even a trace of a crack on his body. Heavens, how is that possible? Everyone went crazy. Qi Siyu was also stunned. Chen Ruffing even screamed crazily. Impossible. No one below the half-step saint can stop it. How did you do it? Could it be that you're a half-step saint? As soon as he said that, everyone's expression changed drastically. However, they soon denied it. Impossible. I've never heard of such a young half-step saint. Moreover, they could feel the power of a half-step saint. However, they did not feel the danger of a half-step saint from Lin Xian. Then what's going on? Perhaps he has a defensive treasure in his hands, such as a half-step saint artifact. If he uses his full strength, he might be able to resist it. So that's what happened. Everyone was in a daze. How dare you use a forbidden weapon to self-destruct? It seems that I haven't taught you a lesson enough. Lin Xian took a step forward and grabbed forward with his palm. Block it. Chen Ruffing's body regrouped and activated the red cauldron above his head. The red cauldron was also a very terrifying treasure. At that moment, it shone with tens of thousands of rays of light and firmly protected him. At the same time, he quickly retreated. Boom. However, the speed of the golden fist was beyond his imagination. In an instant, it collided with the red cauldron. With a clang, the void in all directions shattered and countless formations cracked. Many people were bleeding from their ears and their faces turned pale. Under countless horrified gazes, cracks appeared on the red cauldron, and then it exploded with a loud bang. No. Chen Ruffing was in despair. A jade pendant on his body flickered with light and enveloped him. A necklace on his neck appeared with 18 runes and wrapped around him. Those accessories were not simple. They were all top-tier treasures. At that moment, Chen Rufing was using them desperately. Chapter 3152. With a loud bang, Chen Rufing's body split open again. This time, even his head was smashed. Whoosh! Amidst the sea of blood, an illusory figure escaped into the distance. That was Chen Rufing's soul. At this moment, he couldn't care about anything else. His soul hugged a bead and escaped quickly. Trying to escape? Lin Xian sneered. He stretched out his hand like a 5-finger mountain and sealed the entire void, completely cutting off Chen Rufing's escape route. Damn brat, how dare you kill me? I'm from the Chen family. If you kill me, the Chen family won't let you off. A mere Chen family isn't a threat to me. Lin Xian closed his palm slowly. Wherever it passed, nothing could stop it. Damn it. Chen Rufing's soul hugged a red bead and suddenly let out a sharp cry. The red bead was covered with runes and turned into a soul attack. Go to hell. At this moment, Chen Rufing used his full strength. If this attack hit, it could instantly destroy the enemy's soul. Soul attack. Chen Rufing's soul attack was so powerful. Everyone felt their hair stand on end. Damage to the soul was very difficult to heal. Lin Xian's lips curled into a sneer. Soul attack? He really didn't know what was good for him. Buzz. Golden runes flickered in his eyes. In an instant, a ball of golden flame flew out. The soul attack was instantly broken. Not only that, the red bead in Chen Rufing's hand also cracked from the middle with a bang and turned into a pile of ruins. Chen Rufing's soul screamed crazily and rolled in the air. It was extremely painful. No. Damn it, you can't kill me. His voice was getting weaker and weaker. Stop. At this moment, a cold shout came from afar. Who's there? How dare you cause trouble here? Obviously, the commotion here had alerted the higher-ups of Tianfeng Pavilion. At the same time, Qi Siyu also said, Young Master Lin, please reconsider. Chen Rufing's identity is indeed not simple. However, Lin Xian didn't stop at all. There was still a wisp of golden light in his eyes. His cold voice came. Are you convinced? Yes. I'm convinced. Chen Rufing kept begging for mercy. I was wrong. Young Master Lin, please be magnanimous. I shouldn't have offended you. I apologize to you, please forgive me. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. These people were all disciples of aristocratic families, so they naturally knew how proud and arrogant Chen Rufing was. No one could make him lower his head. Even Qi Siyu had only managed to force Chen Rufing away. But now, there was actually someone who had destroyed Chen Rufing's physical body. He even tortured Chen Rufing's soul. Chen Rufing had no choice but to apologize. Beg for mercy, lower your head. This was even harder to accomplish than killing the other party. Who is it? You still dare to make a move? Do you not put my Tianfeng Pavilion in your eyes? The loud and clear voice echoed in the air. Then, a middle-aged man stepped into the air and arrived beside Lin Xian. He looked at his surroundings with a solemn expression. Damn it, someone actually dared to make a move in his territory? However, in the next moment, when he saw Qi Siyu, his expression changed as he greeted her respectfully. Second Mississippi, the person who came was the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion. He had been in the depths of Tianfeng Pavilion, preparing for the upcoming grand event. Unexpectedly, there was a violent fluctuation outside. He even sensed that the protective formation of Tianfeng Pavilion had shattered. This made him furious. Who dared to be impudent in their Tianfeng Pavilion? Therefore, he walked out with an imposing manner. At the same time, he was extremely angry. What were the guards and elders of Tianfeng Pavilion doing? Why did no one stop the battle outside? When he arrived, he saw a young man emitting a terrifying aura, turning his opponent into a bloody mist. He even burned his opponent's soul. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion instantly arrived in front of the young man, wanting to take him down personally. However, in the next moment, he saw a woman standing beside the young man. That woman was the second miss of the Qi family, Qi Siyu. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion hurriedly bowed. At the same time, he saw their second miss respectfully persuading the red-clothed young man in front of her. What was going on? Could it be that the person who made a move had a powerful background? Thinking of this, the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was shocked. He immediately withdrew his aura and stood aside. What was going on? He hurriedly called one of his subordinates and asked in a low voice. When he learned that the pavilion master and the surrounding guards had all kowtowed and apologized to the young man, and were even expelled from Tianfeng Pavilion, he was extremely shocked. The young man had such a powerful background. When he learned that the young man had instantly killed a genius disciple of the 9 great clans, the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion felt like his scalp was about to explode. Who was this young man? How dare he kill a genius of the 9 great clans? Wasn't he afraid that the 9 great clans would join hands with him? When he found out that the person his opponent wanted to kill was actually Chun Rufeng, he was shocked. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion almost fainted from shock. At this moment he even suspected that there was something wrong with his ears. Chun Rufeng. The young man wanted to kill Chun Rufeng. Moreover, it was already the final step. Heavens! Chun Rufeng wasn't someone that the 9 great clans' cultivators could compare to. He was the eldest son of the Chun family. He was someone who had the potential to become one of the top young geniuses in the world. He could be said to be the hope of the Chun family. Even the Qi family wouldn't touch such a person easily, because once he was killed, the Chun family would retaliate crazily. However, the red-clothed young man in front of him looked indifferent, as if he didn't care at all. It was as if he was squashing an ant to death. Immediately he broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, he didn't make a move just now. Otherwise, with the young man's means, he would be a dead man by now. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion trembled at the thought of this. As for Lin Xian, he looked at Chun Rufeng who was struggling in pain in front of him, and revealed a cold smile. Was he convinced? He naturally knew that the young man wasn't sincere. However, he didn't care. With a wave of his hand, a 9-story pagoda flew out and suppressed Chun Rufeng's soul. In the next moment, his cold voice sounded. You can avoid death, but you can't escape punishment. If you want freedom, tell the Chun family to come to me with the peerless spiritual herbs. With that, Lin Xian kept the 9-story pagoda. The others were stunned. What's going on? Did the young man suppress Chun Rufeng? He even threatened the Chun family to exchange the peerless spiritual herbs for it? Was this young man really going to start an all-out war with the Chun family? Everyone trembled at the thought of this. At the same time, they knew that there was an earthquake. This was definitely a big deal. Many people were extremely excited because they knew that a storm was coming. Chapter 3153. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was stunned. This was really a fierce person. He even dared to suppress Chun Rufeng. He even dared to threaten the Chun family. Thinking of this, he wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. Qi Siyu beside him heaved a sigh of relief. As long as he didn't kill Chun Rufeng, everything was negotiable. At most, the Qi family would step in. In short, no matter what, they couldn't let Lin Xian get hurt. Lin Xian didn't care about the reactions of the people around him. What Chun family, the 9 great families, he didn't take them seriously at all. To be honest, attacking Chun Rufeng this time was also an accident. If not for the other party releasing killing intent towards him time and time again, he wouldn't have made a move. He knew that letting such a person go would cause a greater disaster. However, he could use Chun Rufeng's life to make an exchange with the Chun family. He wanted to collect 1,300 types of spiritual herbs. Most of them could be collected by 1,000 Herb Hall. However, some of the spiritual herbs were very precious. With 1,000 Herb Hall's ability, it would probably be very difficult to complete them in a short time. But now he could make the Chun family bleed a lot. In a while he would distribute the spiritual herbs he needed. These people would definitely pass them to the Chun family. Thinking of this, he turned his head and stared at the middle-aged man beside him. He asked indifferently, "Just now were you stopping me?" The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was also a 9-star perfection stage expert. He was extremely powerful. But at this moment in Lin Xian's eyes, he was like an ant trembling. because he knew that this person in front of him was a ruthless person. He killed the genius of the 9 great families and suppressed Chen Rufeng. The other party was actually safe and sound now. One could imagine that the other party was very strong. It wouldn't be difficult to kill him. Moreover, looking at Qi Siyu's attitude, even if he killed him, the Qi family wouldn't have any reaction. Therefore, the pavilion master hurriedly bowed and said, "Misunderstanding. This is a complete misunderstanding. I didn't know that it was young master who attacked." As he spoke, he looked at Qi Siyu as if begging for mercy. Seeing this scene, Qi Siyu sighed and said, "Young master, this is the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion." The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion? Lin Xian raised his eyebrows and asked, "I remember that your Tianfeng Pavilion is going to launch an extremely special cauldron later, right?" "Yes." The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion didn't know why the other party asked this question. Qi Siyu's brows twitched. She knew that Lin Xian was an alchemist, and an extremely powerful one at that. To alchemists, what was the most attractive thing? Other than medicinal pills, there was also the pill cauldron. This was a necessary treasure for refining pills. From the looks of it, young Master Lin should be lacking a pill cauldron to refine pills. Thinking of this, she hurriedly said, "Pavilion Master Li, young master wants to see the pill cauldron. Why aren't you preparing it?" "Yes, I will go and prepare now. Please wait for a moment." Second Miss and young Master Lin. The head of Tianfeng Pavilion turned around and wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. Then he hurriedly led people to make preparations. Soon many pill cauldrons appeared in the spell formation. There were 10 of them floating in the air. Every one of them exuded a mysterious and ancient aura, and the light that hung down dazzled people. The young warriors in the surrounding hall were still in shock. But soon, they were attracted by the pill cauldrons in front. These were all top-grade pill cauldrons. They didn't expect Tianfeng Pavilion to be so generous this time. It couldn't be. Although Tianfeng Pavilion was powerful, they couldn't take out so many pill cauldrons at once. "I think it should be an auction." Sure enough, this was a small-scale auction. Among the 10 pill cauldrons, only 3 were from Tianfeng Pavilion. The other 7 were from other families or experts who entrusted Tianfeng Pavilion to auction. There were indeed pill cauldrons. Lin Xian also revealed a trace of surprise. He raised his head and looked at the cauldrons in front. Golden light appeared in his eyes. The next moment, he instantly fixed his eyes on one of them. It was a purple pill cauldron with a very simple design. As soon as it appeared, it attracted Lin Xian's attention. Golden light bloomed in Lin Xian's eyes as he stared at the purple pill cauldron. He seemed to see the runes on it flowing rapidly like a purple river. It also seemed like a purple abyss that could make one's soul sink into it. What a magical pill cauldron! Lin Xian was surprised. With a wave of his hand, the purple pill cauldron came in front of him. Lin Xian reached out a finger and lightly knocked on it. Dang! The sound was like thunder, echoing for a long time without dissipating. Not bad, it's this one. Lin Xian was very satisfied. Seeing this scene, Qi Siyu heaved a sigh of relief. Great, ever since she came, she hadn't seen Lin Xian smile. She didn't expect that now. Lin Xian finally revealed a smile. As long as the other party was satisfied, then everything was easy. Qi Siyu said with a smile. Since young Master Lin liked it, it was good. Second Miss. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion looked like he wanted to say something but stopped. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian raised his brows. Why unwilling? By the side, Qi Siyu also snorted coldly. Her beautiful face immediately turned cold. Damn it, what was this guy doing? It wasn't easy to make this young Master Lin happy, but I didn't expect that his subordinate was so reckless. Trying to stop them from the middle? Seeing Lin Xian and Qi Siyu's darkened faces, the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was sweating profusely. He was so scared that he was about to cry. He trembled as he said, "No, young Master Lin, second miss, this pill cauldron has been reserved by a few people." Who reserved it? Right, this cauldron doesn't belong to Tianfeng Pavilion, right? Why don't we just buy it and give it to young Master Lin? Yes. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion wanted to say something, but seeing Qi Siyu's expression, he immediately shut his mouth. He didn't doubt that Qi Siyu would kill him on the spot if he dared to stop them. Young master, this is the information of this pill cauldron. Qi Siyu received a jade slip from the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion and handed it to Lin Xian respectfully. Lin Xian took it and probed it with his soul spirit. Then he nodded silently. Purple Abyss Cauldron. This Purple Abyss Cauldron was incredible. It was said that it was passed down from ancient times and was very precious. It seemed to be used by a half-sage back then. Therefore, the price was also very expensive. However, Lin Xian didn't have to worry about this. Qi Siyu didn't say anything and bought this Purple Abyss Cauldron directly. In response, Lin Xian accepted it without hesitation. What was a mere pill cauldron? If he cured the Qi family's patriarch, how many benefits would he bring to the Qi family? Therefore, this cauldron was just a side benefit. The real benefits were those precious spiritual herbs. Young Master Lin, since you're here, why don't you stay a little longer? Siyu needs to treat you well. Qi Siyu revealed a beautiful smile. That was good too. Lin Xian nodded slightly and said, I have a few companions. Why don't you let them come together? All right, young master, I'll arrange it. Qi Siyu hurriedly asked the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion to treat Lin Xian with the highest standards. As for Qingqing, Nailin Yanran, and Feng Hao, the three of them were also respectfully invited in. Chapter 3154. Heavens, this is truly a peerless monster. To be able to make the Qi family's second miss so respectful, even trampling on Chun Rufing's physical body, and suppressing his soul on the spot. This guy, everything he does is earth-shattering. Originally, I thought that with my peak 9-star strength, I can laugh proudly at those of the same level. I didn't expect that there's actually someone so much more powerful than me. These large family clans' prodigies were sweating profusely. To be honest, they were completely convinced by Lin Xian today. What was called a peerless prodigy, what was called a heaven-defying powerhouse, Lin Xian gave them the best explanation. And those female martial artists' eyes were all shining. If only they could marry such a person. What kind of person is Sir Lin? How can he be delusional to a little girl like you? I've decided, even if I can't find a husband like Sir Lin, I'll definitely find someone like him. These beauties were really excited. This kind of indomitable, unparalleled hero who could trample all over the world. How could they not be moved? Lin Xian was invited into the depths of Tianfeng Pavilion by Siyu and the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion, inside a majestic great hall. Accompanying them were Nailin Yanran, Qingqing, and Feng Hao. All kinds of exquisite dishes were served one after another. These were all abnormally precious ingredients. There was even flood dragon meat. One could say that it could not be eaten outside at all. Lin Xian chatted with everyone while splitting a portion of his soul into the black earth to study the Purple Abyss Cauldron again. After all, this would be his pill refinement partner for a long time in the future. He naturally had to familiarize himself with it well. As he observed closer, he discovered that this Purple Abyss Cauldron might really be a treasure. According to the records, this was left behind by a half-sage. However, Lin Xian did not think so. He discovered that although the remnant aura on it was already very faint, his soul force was still very powerful. Very soon he was able to capture the remnant aura of true laws on the Purple Abyss Cauldron. This was something that a sage had used before. Sensing this point, Lin Xian was wild with joy. A pill cauldron left behind by a sage? What an unexpected surprise. Generally speaking, alchemy cauldrons were also divided into grades. For example, a king-grade alchemy cauldron could at most refine some pills required by a king-grade alchemy cauldron. It would be very difficult to refine the medicinal pills required by the semi-sage realm. As for saints, there was no need to even think about it. It was impossible to cultivate it. However, it would be different if it was a half-step sage's cauldron. The success rate would be greatly increased. If it was the cauldron of a saint, then there would be no problem. He could even directly refine saint-level pills. Therefore, Lin Xian now had the Purple Abyss Cauldron, which could be said to have solved a big problem. While they were drinking and chatting inside, the main hall outside changed again. Because Tianfeng Pavilion had another thing to do besides inviting the experts and disciples of these big clans, which was to hold an auction. Especially this time, they were auctioning off 10 pill cauldrons. This news had been released long ago. Therefore, the grand meeting of Tianfeng Pavilion this time attracted many alchemists. At this moment, these alchemists came one after another. I heard that there are quite a few good pill cauldrons this time. I must get one. Many Elixir Kings' eyes lit up. Is that so? I'm going to have one too. Anyway, there are many pill cauldrons, so we don't have to fight for them. These Elixir Kings were very happy. Suddenly, their eyes widened, revealing a trace of shock. Heavens, am I seeing things? That's Elixir King he too. Why is he here too? What? Elixir King he too? No way. He's a 9-star Elixir King. After the other Elixir Kings heard this, they were also extremely shocked. Although they were all Elixir Kings, they were also ranked. After all, the medicinal pills for kings to consume were divided into 9 grades. Elixir Kings were also correspondingly divided into 9 grades. The pills refined by a 9th grade Elixir King were the best, and the success rate was also the highest. Therefore, the status of a 9th grade Elixir King was very high. A 9th grade Elixir King would attract countless big clans to treat him as a distinguished guest. The Elixir King he too that these people were talking about was a 9th grade Elixir King. Therefore, the moment he appeared, it immediately caused a commotion. Greetings to Elixir King he too. The surrounding Elixir Kings went forward one after another and bowed respectfully. Elixir King he too was a middle-aged man with a pale face and no beard. His eyes were swollen but full of spirit. Although he looked young, his true age was already more than 1800 years old. The arrival of Elixir King he too made the surrounding Elixir Kings very shocked and excited. Because in their alchemy world, Elixir Kings were legendary existences. At the same time, they were even more curious. What heaven-defying treasure was there this time? Even Elixir King he too was attracted. They didn't know. They only seemed to be auctioning pill cauldrons. Could it be that there was something special about this pill cauldron? Thinking of this, everyone was greatly surprised. Wait a minute. That was Elixir King Blackfeather. Suddenly, another person screamed. The other Elixir Kings turned their heads one after another. In the next moment, screams sounded one after another. The young prodigies in the entire hall were also stunned. To be honest, when these Elixir Kings came, they had to accompany them carefully. No one would easily provoke an Elixir King, especially these Elixir Kings. Therefore, those Elixir Kings were also proud and arrogant. Even if the people around them were geniuses, they were also disdainful. These Elixir Kings gathered together alone. The others didn't dare to go forward at all. The genius disciples of the other clans could only watch from afar. Originally, they were prepared to go over later and curry favor with 1 or 2 Elixir Kings. This way, it would be a great benefit to their clans. And they would definitely be rewarded by their clans. However, before they could act on their thoughts, they saw those Pill King level alchemists making a fuss over nothing. What's going on? Are these Elixir Kings crazy? Lower your voice. Don't you want to live anymore? But I really think there's something wrong with their heads. The surrounding Sky Prides were dumbfounded by what they saw. Why would the Elixir Kings care about the thoughts of the people around them? They were too shocked. They saw an old man in a black robe walking over. The old man in the black robe looked very old, but his hair was incomparably black, which made him look very strange. If one were to take a closer look at the black Taoist robe he was wearing, they would discover that it was pieced together with black feathers. This old man was also called Elixir King Blackfeather. He was also a 9th grade Elixir King. When Elixir King Blackfeather appeared, even Elixir King he too revealed a look of surprise. He said in a deep voice, "Looks like you're also here for that thing." "That's right, I'm determined to get that thing," Elixir King Blackfeather said with a smile. "Humph." Elixir King he too snorted. It was obvious that he wouldn't give that thing away so easily. The surrounding alchemists were at a loss. At the same time, they were extremely excited. 2 Elixir Kings were competing. Chapter 3155. The 2 of you are early. At this moment, another laughter was heard. Everyone turned to look, and in the next moment, They all held their breaths. This time it was a woman in her 30s. She was wearing a fiery red long dress, which accentuated her graceful figure. Compared to those young and beautiful women, she was more mature and charming. Pill King Red Lotus. The surrounding alchemists screamed again. This woman was not an ordinary one. She was also a 9th grade Pill King. Oh my god. 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings had arrived. What exactly were they fighting over? Excuse me, but I have reserved that item in advance. So, please don't fight for it when the time comes. Pill King Red Lotus said with a smile. Do you think you are the only one who has reserved it? I have reserved it too. Pill King he too snorted. Pill King Black Feather said with a smile. I have prepared for it as well. Let's compete with our wealth. The surrounding alchemists were excited as if they had been injected with chicken blood. The 3 9th grade Pill Kings were determined to get it. And it seemed like they were willing to spend a lot of money. When the time came, it would definitely be a bloodbath. Soon the auction began. Everyone walked forward. Other than the Pill Kings, the genius disciples of the big families also followed. Many people looked at the 3 figures in front of them, who were like moons surrounded by stars. They were very surprised. What is going on? Who are those 3 people? Why are the other alchemists so respectful? I just received news that those 3 are 9th grade Pill Kings. What? 9th grade Pill Kings? The surrounding prodigies screamed crazily when they heard that. Their eyes were filled with shock. A 9th grade Pill King could not only refine the highest 9th grade pills, but his success rate was also incomparable to other Pill Kings. If a family could have a 9th grade Pill King, the cultivation speed of the family's martial artists would be greatly improved. It would be much faster than other families. Thinking of this, everyone's eyes were fixed on the 3 9th grade Pill Kings. They had to think of a way to win over the 3 of them. At the front, the 3 9th grade Pill Kings took their seats. The other alchemists also took their seats. At the back, the genius disciples of the big families could only sit at the back. However, they were already very satisfied to be able to watch it. On the auction stage, an old man walked up and started the auction. These people were already very familiar with the process of the auction. Moreover, these people had already investigated the situation of those pill cauldrons. Therefore, everyone started attacking their respective targets. For a time, the competition was very intense. The price was so high that the geniuses of the surrounding large clans were flabbergasted. Even if they were faced with such a price, the corners of their mouths twitched. They even discovered that the price of several pill furnaces was comparable to half of their family's assets. That was definitely a sky-high price. However, these Pill Kings were all distinguished guests of the various large clans. Their wealth could be said to be comparable to that of a nation. Therefore, even with such a high price, these people would not be intimidated. 7 out of the 10 pill cauldrons had already been opened. He was hit by 6 people. There was one person who won 2 in a row. His wealth was so great that it made everyone sigh in shock. Those alchemists who didn't get it shook their heads in pity. They were prepared to fight again. However, there were also people who were extremely surprised. Why hadn't the 3 9th grade Pill Kings made a move yet? What did they know? What they were auctioning was definitely their trump card, so it must be the last one. Therefore, let's go all out and fight for the top 9. These Pill Kings made up their minds and made a move decisively. Sure enough, when the 9th cauldron was auctioned at the highest price, everyone was excited. They knew that the final treasure was coming. The 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings sitting at the front opened their eyes as well. They didn't care about the previous pill cauldrons at all because they didn't care about them. However, the last one was different. They were here for the last one, because they had received news that the last pill cauldron was passed down from the ancient times. It was rumored that it was a pill cauldron used by a half-saint. To them, this was undoubtedly a supreme treasure. After all, they were already 9th grade Pill Kings. One more step and they would be half-step Pill Saints. At that time, they would naturally need an even more precious pill cauldron. Therefore, this time, when a half-saint pill cauldron appeared, they had to get their hands on it. Even if they couldn't become half-step Pill Saints in a short period of time, obtaining a half-saint pill cauldron would greatly increase their success rate of pill refinement. The eyes of the 3 grade 9 elixir kings lit up. Just as they were about to display their skills, the old man from the Tianfeng pavilion on the auction stage announced loudly, "Everyone, the 9 pill cauldrons have been auctioned off. This auction will end here." What? Hearing this, all the pill kings were stunned. The auction was over? How was this possible? The 3 ninth grade pill kings hadn't even made a move yet. The surrounding alchemists were all stunned. The 3 ninth grade pill kings stood up with a bang. Strange flames rose from their bodies. They asked coldly, "How was this possible? Where was the last pill cauldron? Where was the pill cauldron that was passed down from the ancient times and was rumored to be used by a half-saint?" The voices of the 3 pill kings were like thunder, exploding in the void. After hearing this, the surrounding alchemists' pupils shrank. It was passed down from the ancient times, and it was used by a half-saint. They gasped. No wonder the 3 ninth grade pill kings were all here, as if they had been injected with chicken blood. They even looked like they were determined to get the cauldron. It turned out to be a half-saint pill cauldron. It was definitely something good. Indeed, only something like this could attract the attention of the 3 ninth grade pill kings. These people were amazed, but at the same time, they were even more confused. It seemed like there was a problem, because the last pill cauldron wasn't auctioned off. What was going on? Didn't they say there would be 10 cauldrons? Why were there only 9? Pill King Red Lotus frowned. Could it be that the 10th pill cauldron was stolen by them? Pill King Black Feather's face also darkened. The feathers on his black robe were emitting waves of black flames, which were jumping and releasing a terrifying aura. Pill King he too shouted coldly. Could it be that the Tianfeng pavilion was making fun of me? The 3 ninth grade pill kings were furious. On the auction stage, the auctioneer from the Tianfeng pavilion's face was extremely ugly. He hurriedly said, "Please calm down. We have our own difficulties in this matter. Please listen to my explanation." He didn't dare to offend the 9th grade pill kings. After all, a 9th grade pill king had connections with countless families. There was once someone who offended a 9th grade pill king, and that person was an invincible peak stage pill king. He was very powerful. However, he ended up in a very miserable state. That 9th grade pill king had attracted the attention of dozens of experts from the major families, and a few experts from the major sections. It wasn't hard to imagine the ending of that 9th grade pill king's enemy. Every 9th grade pill king had that kind of power. Therefore, even though the Qi family was behind the Tianfeng pavilion, they didn't dare to go against a 9th grade pill king. Chapter 3156. Explanation? Fine, I'd like to hear what explanation you have for me today. Pill King he too had a fiery temper. He snorted coldly, his eyes burning with rage. Pill King Black Feather and Pill King Red Lotus were equally gloomy. They were usually high and mighty, and even the experts from the big families had to curry favor with them. Now someone dared to make a fool out of them. The last cauldron, the Purple Abyss Cauldron, had been bought by someone in advance. What? Who was it? The 3 pill kings were enraged when they heard this. The old man had no choice but to briefly explain the situation. The 3 ninth grade Dan kings frowned. The Qi clan had bought the cauldron and given it to someone else? The Qi family was one of the top families. Even though they were pill kings, they didn't dare to offend them. Therefore, Pill King Red Lotus frowned slightly and decided not to pursue the matter. However, Pill King he too had a fiery temper. He snorted coldly. Who did he give it away? The treasure was right in front of him. How could he not be angry when he lost it? I also want to know who the Pill King is. How could the Qi family treat him like this? Is it Pill King Red Flame? Or Pill King Green Flame? No, it's young Master Lin. The old man said with a bitter smile. Young Master Lin? Which young Master Lin? I've never heard of young Master Lin. He's just a kid. How dare he steal our treasure? Where is he? The 3 pill kings didn't back down. Let him out. The other elders of Tianfeng Pavilion saw this, and went to persuade them. At the same time, a few of them hurried to the depths of Tianfeng Pavilion to report this matter to the Second Miss and the Pavilion Lord. Second Miss, Pavilion Lord. This is bad. Outside the main hall, there was an urgent voice. Chi frowned. What's going on? While she was busy entertaining Lin Xian, the people outside were causing trouble for her. Seeing Chi expression, the pavilion lord of Tianfeng Pavilion quickly stood up and said, "I'll go out and have a look." Soon, the pavilion lord of Tianfeng Pavilion came out with a serious expression. What's going on? What happened? Chi frowned. The pavilion lord glanced at Lin Xian and said cautiously, "Second miss, it's a few pill kings causing trouble." Pill king? What's going on? Chi frown deepened. A tier 9 pill king status was not ordinary. Now that the three of them were causing trouble together, something must have happened. Did the Tianfeng Pavilion offend them? Thinking of this, a cold light appeared in her eyes. The pavilion master hurriedly said, "That was not the case." He let out a sigh and told her the whole story. "Actually, it's like this. When we held the pill cauldron auction, we simply released the news of the 10 pill cauldrons. We also released the news about the purple abyss cauldron, which attracted many tier 9 pill kings. This time, the 3 9th grade pill kings were here for the purple abyss cauldron. However, the purple abyss cauldron had already been given to young Master Lin. That was why the 3 tier 9 pill kings were so angry that they started a ruckus." Chi frowned. She recalled that the pavilion lord of Tianfeng Pavilion had said that the cauldron had already been reserved. So it was reserved by 3 tier 9 pill kings. This matter was indeed a little tricky. She couldn't afford to offend Lin Xian. After all, her clan's patriarch's injury depended on him. However, she couldn't afford to offend 3 tier 9 pill kings. These people were of noble status, so her Qi clan had to deal with them properly. "Young Master Lin, please take a seat. I'll go out to deal with some matters." Chi stood up and said softly. Lin Xian also put down his wine glass. "I'll go with you. After all, this whole thing started because of me." Lin Xian didn't expect that the purple abyss cauldron would cause such a ruckus. However, it made sense. This was rumored to be left behind by a half-sage. Those tier 9 pill kings would definitely try their best to get their hands on it. However, the purple abyss cauldron already belonged to Lin Xian. He couldn't give it away. Moreover, it wasn't used by a half-sage. It was something left behind by a saint. It could be said to be a saint-grade pill cauldron. Lin Xian wouldn't give it away, but he wouldn't stand by and do nothing. If he could help, he would. All right. Seeing that Lin Xian also wanted to go, Chi nodded. "Let's go too." Lin Yan ran. And the rest also put down their wine cups. The group left the main hall and headed outside. Outside, the elders of Tianfeng Pavilion looked helpless. Facing the questioning and anger of 3 tier 9 pill kings, they couldn't resist at all. They could only apologize carefully. Fortunately, they heaved a sigh of relief, because they received a message that Second Miss and Pavilion Master were on their way. Not long after, a group of people came from afar. Countless people moved aside. It was Second Miss and Pavilion Master. Those elders heaved a sigh of relief. Their backs were wet with sweat. After all, the pressure of facing 3 tier 9 pill kings was too great. Now that Second Miss and Pavilion Master were here, there was nothing for them to do. Therefore, these elders stood at the side respectfully. The 3 grade 9 elixir kings squinted their eyes and looked ahead. They naturally knew the Pavilion Master of Tianfeng Pavilion. Beside the Pavilion Master of Tianfeng Pavilion, there was a beautiful lady. She looked unfamiliar. However, when they saw the pattern embroidered on the lattice clothes, they knew that she was from the Qi clan. And she was a core member of the Qi clan. They all knew that the Qi clan was behind the Tianfeng Pavilion. Moreover, they already knew that the Qi clan had bought the purple abyss cauldron in advance to give it away. She should be the second miss of the Qi clan. Pill King Red Lotus said lightly. Pill King Black Feather frowned. He didn't understand. Who was that young man? He was very confused. The second miss of the Qi clan was already very noble, but she was accompanying a young man. Who was that young man? Was there someone more powerful than the Qi clan? However, he didn't see the Qi clan's emblem on the young man. Moreover, the young man's aura was very obscure. He couldn't even see it clearly. It seemed that the young man was either an extremely powerful expert or someone with an extremely high status. However, the three of them weren't afraid. The three of them were Tier 9 Pill Kings. If they joined forces, their status and strength would be unimaginable. Even if it was the Qi clan, they wouldn't dare to question why they were fooling them. So it's the three alchemy kings who have arrived. This little girl pays her respects. After coming to the front, Qi Siyu laughed softly and then bowed slightly. The pavilion master of Heavenly Room Pavilion also came forward to greet them. Only Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back, looking at them curiously. Were these three Pill Kings of the 9th grade? He felt a terrifying and powerful flame aura from them. Pavilion Master Li, what is the meaning of this? If the Purple Abyss Cauldron isn't here, why did you spread the news? Are you fooling us? Chapter 3157. Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus looked cold. The pavilion master smiled bitterly. Qi Siyu explained, "It's like this. Due to some reasons, I bought this cauldron not long ago and gave it to someone else. It's not that the Heavenly Square Pavilion faked the news. There's a reason for it. I hope you can forgive me. Of course, the Qi family will compensate you." Qi Siyu knew how important a 9th grade Pill King was. Even the Qi family couldn't afford to offend them. Instead, they tried their best to please them. Pill King He too snorted. "I heard that the second miss gave it to someone called Young Master Lin. Who is this Young Master Lin? Is he an alchemist? If the second miss gave it to another 9th grade Pill King, we won't say anything. But if the second miss didn't give it to an alchemist, then he'll fight for it." Pill King Blackfeather said in a low voice. Pill King Red Lotus didn't say anything, but it was obvious that she meant it. Young Master Lin? They had never heard of him. How could they be willing to give such a high-grade cauldron to a kid they had never heard of before? What? Qi Siyu was stunned. She didn't want to drag Lin Xian into the mess again. The crowd was in an uproar. Oh my God, Young Master Lin? Wasn't he the fierce man from before? They knew that half a day ago, Lin Xian had gone on a killing spree in the hall. He had killed the geniuses of the 9 major clans, destroyed Chen Rufing's body, and suppressed his soul. How terrifying was this kind of person? Of course, they also saw Lin Xian take one of the 10 pill cauldrons. They didn't expect that the cauldron was left behind by a half-step saint. And these 3 9th grade Pill Kings were also determined to obtain that pill cauldron. That was why the scene was like this. Young Master Lin was a fierce man. He didn't even care about Chen Rufing and the 9 major clans. Would he give face to the 3 Pill Kings? Not necessarily. The Chen family and the 9 major clans were strong, but the combined influence of the 3 9th grade Pill Kings might be greater than them. How could the 3 Pill Kings be so terrifying? Don't forget that they were 9th grade Pill Kings. Every alchemy king had connections with many families. 3 9th grade Dan Kings could even gather more than 10 clans. It was too exciting. Who would have thought that the matter that had just calmed down would cause such a storm? How would this brat deal with it? I don't think he'll back down. He'll definitely make a scene. No matter how arrogant this brat was, he wouldn't dare to fight against 3 9th grade Pill Kings at the same time. Everyone was talking about it. Qi Siyu frowned slightly. Beside her, the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was sweating profusely. Lin Xian was very calm. Hearing the words of the 3 Dan Kings in front of him, he revealed a trace of surprise. "Oh, you want to see me? Who are you?" An alchemist asked coldly. Although the auction was over, these alchemists didn't leave. They knew that the real big event was yet to come. As expected, they saw the Qi clan's second young miss and the rest. However, they didn't expect that after the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings finished their questions, a young man would suddenly speak up. "I am naturally the Young Master Lin that you all speak of." "What? It's actually you." The surrounding people were all stunned. The 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings were also stunned. Then, a sharp light burst out from their eyes as they stared at Lin Xian. "You're that Young Master Lin? The Purple Abyss Cauldron is in your hands?" They were too excited. They thought that Young Master Lin was so far away that they wouldn't be able to find him. They didn't expect him to be right in front of them. Since that was the case, they couldn't miss this opportunity. They must get the Purple Abyss Cauldron. "That's right, it's me." Lin Xian nodded slightly. The surrounding people exclaimed, The 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings frowned deeply. To be honest, until now they had used all kinds of secret techniques, but they still couldn't see through Lin Xian's strength. They couldn't even tell if he was an alchemist. At this moment, the most hot-tempered Pill King he too snorted. "Kid, take out the purple abyss cauldron. Name a price and I'll buy it." "That's right, you're a young man and not an alchemist. The purple abyss cauldron is useless to you. I can give you an equivalent sacred art or weapon in exchange." Pill King Black Feather said with a smile. Pill King Red Lotus said with a smile. "Give me the purple abyss cauldron, and I'll make you a cauldron of top-grade spiritual herbs for free." Everyone was excited to hear that. The 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings said. That was a big deal. One had to know that a Tier 9 Pill King had a lot of wealth. Any treasure they took out was enough to make people jealous. They didn't expect this kid to be so lucky. The other alchemists were envious. Lin Xian was stunned at first, but then he laughed. "Who said that I'm not an alchemist? Although your conditions are good, I don't need them. Since the purple abyss cauldron is already mine, please go back." "What? You're an alchemist?" Pill King Black Feather was shocked. Pill King Red Lotus and Pill King He too were also stunned. The surrounding alchemists were all stunned and went into an uproar. This kid is an alchemist? Heavens, how old is he? Look at his bone age. Don't tell me he's an old monster. All kinds of strange flames appeared in the eyes of these people, trying to see through Lin Xian. In the next moment, they exclaimed, "His bone age is too young. He's definitely a very young person. Even if this kid is an alchemist, he's probably just an ordinary alchemist." The surrounding people looked at him with disdain. They were all Pill Kings. Although they weren't Tier 9 Pill Kings, they were still top Pill Kings who stood at the top of the alchemy world. How dare a young kid be so arrogant in front of them? This made them very unhappy. Especially the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings, they all laughed. "Kid, which sect are you from? So what if you're an alchemist? The purple abyss cauldron isn't something you can use. Hand it over obediently. I see that you're quite talented, so I don't mind taking you as my disciple. Where did you learn from? Which Tier 9 Pill King?" In their opinion, the kid might be the disciple of a Tier 9 Pill King, which was why he was so arrogant. However, that identity was useless in front of them. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. "Take me as your disciple? I'm afraid you're not qualified yet." When those words came out, the crowd was in an uproar again. The eyelids of the martial artists in the distance twitched wildly. As expected, this kid was ruthless. He didn't even give face to the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings. It seemed that there would be a good show to watch. They were extremely excited, but the surrounding alchemists were furious. How dare he? How dare he talk to 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings like that? They were really angry. Tier 9 Pill Kings were the top existences in their eyes. They had to be respectful when they saw them. Chapter 3158. As expected, the faces of the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings darkened with anger. The flames in their bodies were like volcanoes that could erupt at any time. The Tianfeng Pavilion's pavilion master was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Qi Siyu smiled bitterly. To be honest, she couldn't intervene at all. At this moment, a young man walked out. Tiny red flames danced on his body. Although they were weak, their power was enough to shock everyone. "Kid, you're too reckless. How dare you talk to 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings like that? Do you know what a Tier 9 Pill King represents? Looks like you don't even have the right to enter our circle." At this point, his face carried a hint of arrogance. The surrounding people exclaimed in shock. "That's Pill King He Tu's disciple. That's right, I'm his master's strength. How can a kid like you understand?" Another person walked out. It was Pill King He Ye's disciple. The appearance of these two shocked the others. The disciples of the 2 Tier 9 Pill Kings were also very powerful. Among them, Pill King He Tu's disciple was a Tier 5 Pill King. Pill King He Ye's disciple was even more powerful. He was a Tier 6 Pill King. Of course, he was older than the previous one. But that was already very scary, because he was only around 500 years old. He was young and promising. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. "Oh, is your master very powerful? Can he cure the Qi family's patriarch's injury? What? The Qi family's patriarch's injury? Everyone's expression changed when they heard that. Even the 3 Tier 9 Pill Kings were stunned. Because this was no secret. 300 years ago, the Qi family's patriarch came back from the abyss with serious injuries. They had invited many Pill Kings to treat him, but none of them could cure him. Therefore, the entire circle of alchemists knew that even a 9th tier Pill King was helpless against it. It was even rumored that the Qi family paid a huge price to invite a half-step Saint Pill Master to treat him. In the end, he still couldn't cure him. Therefore, the Qi family's patriarch's injury had become the final conclusion of the entire pill refining circle. Unless a pill saint appeared, no one would be able to cure him. Therefore, Pill King He-Tu's disciple snorted coldly when he heard Lin Xian's words. Of course they knew. It was better if no one knew. Even a half-step alchemy saint could not cure him. Only a true pill saint would be able to do so. However, pill saints were extremely rare existences. It would be very difficult for it to appear. The others nodded as well, because this matter was not a secret in the alchemy world. However, they were puzzled. Why would the other party bring this up? Could it be that the other party's master had a solution? What a joke! However, in the next moment they were dumbfounded. Lin Xian said proudly, "You can't, but I can." These words were like a sudden clap of thunder, shocking everyone. They were all stunned. Heavens, what did this brat say? He could. Pill King He-Tu's disciple almost spat out a mouthful of blood. After the others recovered from their shock, they burst into laughter as if they had heard the funniest joke. The 3 ninth grade Elixir Kings snorted coldly, their eyes filled with disdain. Initially, he thought that the other party was an expert, but who would have thought that it was just an arrogant and ignorant brat? How could such a person contend against them? He was overestimating himself. Seeing the surrounding jeers, Lin Xian's expression was indifferent. Nailin Yanran, Qingqing, and the other two were extremely shocked. They did not expect that Lin Xian actually had such capabilities. However, hearing those Elixir King's words, they were suspicious. Forget about them. Even the Tianfeng Pavilion's pavilion master was suspicious. Because his news was too shocking. It could not be true at all. However, at this time, Qi Siyu stepped forward and said softly, "What Sir Lin said is right. He indeed has a way to treat my family's ancestors' injuries." Ugh. Those Elixir Kings who were still mocking around instantly stopped laughing. The smiles on their faces became incomparably ugly. It was as if someone was grabbing their necks, making them unable to breathe. How was this possible? Finally, that disciple of Pill King He-Tu screamed. This was impossible. Second miss, you wouldn't have been cheated by him, right? One had to know, something that even a half-step Elixir King could not do. How could a brat like him do it? Elixir King Blackfeather's disciple also stepped forward. That's right, second miss. Don't be deceived by people's flowery words. To be honest, Qi Siyu also had her suspicions. However, after she asked her family's ancestor, he was overjoyed and felt that he had found hope. Qi Siyu was very confident in her family's ancestor. Since her ancestor believed in something, she would naturally believe it to be true. Therefore, she was incomparably respectful towards Lin Xian. At this moment, facing the ridicule of these Elixir Kings, Qi Siyu said coldly, "This matter was absolutely true. Sir Lin did have the ability to do so." The two outstanding disciples of Elixir King He-Tu and Elixir King Blackfeather were so angry that they vomited blood. The surrounding Elixir Kings were also stunned when they heard this. At this moment, the 3 Tier 9 Elixir Kings opened their mouths. "Little kid, what ability do you have to be able to bewitch the second miss of the Qi family? I'm afraid that's the reason why the second miss of the Qi family gave you the purple abyss cauldron. Deceiving people with lies. Just you? You don't deserve the purple abyss cauldron." The 3 Elixir Kings were also furious. They originally thought that the other party had some ability, but they did not expect that the other party was just a braggart. "Master, don't worry, I'll teach this kid a lesson." Elixir King He-Tu's disciple quickly bowed and said. In the next moment he walked out. "Kid, do you dare to have a match with me?" He wanted to expose Lin Xian in front of everyone. Hearing this, the surrounding people were interested. Yes, well no after a match. This kid probably can't even refine a king-grade elixir, right? Hee hee, let's see how he'll embarrass himself then. Kid, I won't bully you. I'll use half of my strength to fight with you. How about it? Elixir King He-Tu's disciple was very arrogant. However, Lin Xian glanced at him and shook his head slightly. You're not qualified to be my opponent. Let your master come out. What? The surrounding people were in an uproar. This guy is too arrogant. Elixir King He-Tu's disciple roared. Kid, you're too presumptuous. Who do you think my master is? How can you challenge him? If you want to challenge my master, you'll have to defeat me first. He was really angry. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back, completely ignoring him. He did not care about a mere elixir king. One should know that whether it was the Saint Breakthrough elixir that he refined or the Qi family's patriarch's elixir, they were all at the half-step saint level. In other words, Lin Xian was definitely at the half-step pill saint level now. He did not care about a mere elixir king. Chapter 3159. I've lived for almost 2,000 years, but I've never seen such an arrogant junior. Alright, since that's the case, I'll make my move. Pill King He-Tu walked out. Everyone was in an uproar when they heard this. What's going on? A 9th grade Pill King is going to make his move? Master! Pill King He-Tu's disciple exclaimed in shock. In his opinion, the other party couldn't even beat him, let alone his master. However, Pill King He-Tu waved his hand. He seemed to have planned this beforehand. However, there's a price for fighting me. If you lose, you have to give me the Purple Abyss Cauldron. How about that? Purple Abyss Cauldron? No problem. Lin Xian waved his hand. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air when they heard this. The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion also exclaimed in a low voice. In his opinion, Lin Xian couldn't win. In fact, Qi Siyu felt a little uneasy. Although she knew that Lin Xian was especially valued by her ancestor. Moreover, she also knew that Lin Xian's combat strength was very strong. As for alchemy, Qi Siyu had never seen it before. You really agree? Pill King He-Tu was stunned. Then his face was filled with joy. On the other hand, Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus expression changed. Oh no, I didn't expect this guy to have such an idea. Damn it, I was too late. It's over. Is the Purple Abyss Cauldron going to be taken by this guy? Both of them were very unwilling to accept this. However, the other party had already made his move. There was nothing they could do now. As for defeating Pill King He-Tu? What a joke. They didn't believe that a young boy could win against Pill Kings of their level. Of course they were serious. Lin Xian said. But, what if you lose? I lose? Ha 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 ha. Pill King He-Tu laughed. If I lose, you can ask for anything. He-Tu, will definitely do it. Alright, it's a deal. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with a cold and fiery light. If you lose, you have to give me a 7,000-year-old Heaven's End cliff. Heaven's End cliff? The surrounding Pill Kings were stunned. Pill King He-Tu's voice suddenly stopped. His eyes suddenly widened. What did you say? Heaven's End cliff? That kind of spirit medicine that was almost extinct. You want a 7,000-year-old one? Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. The other two Pill Kings were also stunned. This little fellow had such a big tone. What? You don't dare? Lin Xian glanced at him and said coldly. The Purple Abyss Cauldron was at least at the half-step saint level. Could it be that it could not compare to a single Heaven's End cliff? A dignified 9th-tier Pill King didn't even have this bit of courage? Lin Xian shook his head in disappointment. This scene infuriated the surrounding alchemists so much that they wanted to vomit blood. Damn, you're just a little brat. Where did your confidence come from? Do you really think that you've won against Pill King He-Tu? That was a 9th grade Pill King. Get your facts straight. Sure enough, Elixir King He-Tu also calmed down, and a smile appeared on his face. The Heaven's End cliff was indeed very difficult to find, not to mention a 7,000-year-old one. However, he had full confidence in himself. How could he lose to a brat? Thus, he did not need to prepare any Heaven's End cliff at all. He only needed to agree to this competition. Alright, this old man agrees. Elixir King He-Tu smiled. Words were no guarantee. Lin Xian waved his hand, and a blank jade slip bloomed in the air. Buzz. Lin Xian placed his conditions on the jade slip. On the other side, Elixir King He too frowned, but soon, she sneered and wrote her conditions on the jade slip as well. The jade slip shone brightly, and Lin Xian took it in his hand and handed it to Qi Siyu. Siyu, you can take this. Lin Xian was not worried at all that Elixir King He too would go back on his word. If Qi Siyu went back on her word, the jade slip would immediately be announced to the world, and Elixir King He tu's reputation would come to an end. When that time came, no one would dare to invite such a person. When the others saw this scene, they were stunned. Was this guy courting death? Yes, if he reneged on his word and escaped, or if the Qi family protected him, even Elixir King He too would not be able to do anything. However, if he wanted to sign a contract, the Qi family would not protect him. Not only that, he even dared to say that he could cure the Qi family's ancestral patriarch. If he lost, the Qi family would chop him into pieces. Elixir King He tu's disciple sneered, "Kid, let's see how you're going to die." Lin Xian said indifferently, "Tell me, what do you want to compete in?" He did not care about the competition at all. He did not expect to finally complete another stock. Among the 1,306 spirit herbs he collected, there were about 900 stalks. Although it was difficult to collect them, it only took a little time. The remaining 300 stalks were more precious, but they could be found easily if given to a big family like the Qi family. However, there were 5 stalks that were even more precious. Some of them were even extinct. The Heaven's End cliff was one of them. Even the Qi family would not be able to find them in a short time. He did not expect to be able to solve it through a competition. What an unexpected surprise. What an arrogant kid. Elixir King He too snorted when he heard Lin Xian's nonchalant words. However, he was very patient. Soon the purple abyss cauldron would be his. How about this? Refining pills takes too much time. Why don't we compete in fire? Compete in fire. The eyes of the surrounding Elixir Kings lit up when they heard that. Every Elixir King had to master fire, but everyone's mastery of fire was different. As for the competition of fire, it was also a relatively common way for these alchemists to fight. The stronger the fire, the deeper the understanding of fire, and the higher the success rate of refining pills. In a way, it also reflected the skills of an elixir master. Therefore, in their opinion, competing in fire could prove the strength of both parties and their skills in elixir masters. Elixir King He tu's disciple raised his head, his eyes full of confidence. He knew very well how terrifying his master's flames were. It seemed that the kid could not even take one hit. As expected, Elixir King Black Feather and Elixir King Red Lotus frowned. This Elixir King He too was a bully. There was nothing they could do. This guy was too cunning. He was one step ahead of them. Both of their faces were extremely ugly. Lin Xian was also stunned. His expression was very strange. Competing in fire? One had to know that he had comprehended the power of fire that was close to the Tao. Moreover, this power was very terrifying. After going through the saint's residence and the cliff of enlightenment, this power that was close to the Tao was close to the fragments of the law of fire. At this moment, the other party dared to compete in fire with him. Was he not courting death? All right, as you wish. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. I'll give you a chance. Show me your strongest fire ability. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. Kid, how dare you? This is what I want to say to you. Elixir King He too roared. He had a bad temper to begin with. When he heard this, his lungs were about to explode. Chapter 3160. The others were almost numb. They thought that Lin Xian was too arrogant and had a death wish. What do you know? My master's 7 flames connecting sky is a terrifying divine ability. Using this divine ability to refine pills will greatly increase the success rate. It's famous in the alchemy world. How dare you provoke me like this? Just you wait. Elixir King He too said coldly. Kid, don't blame me for not warning you. Hurry up and use your strongest skill. Otherwise, you won't stand a chance if I make a move. I've given you a chance. Don't blame me if you don't take it. Elixir King he too had lived for almost 2,000 years, and was a ninth-grade Elixir King. Why would he take the initiative to attack a kid? You want me to make the first move? Fine, I won't hold back then. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. It seemed that his opponent was the one who had a death wish. He stretched out his finger, and a ball of golden flame danced on his fingertip. Then he flicked it gently. What was this kid doing? Everyone was stunned when they saw that. Instead of using his strongest divine ability, he only flicked out a small flame the size of a soybean. Was he competing with a ninth-grade Elixir King? Was this a joke? Elixir King he Tu's disciple's mouth twitched. Oh no, his master was definitely angry. Elixir King he Tu's face darkened. His aura suddenly erupted and swept across the 9 heavens. He was indeed angry. Even if his opponent was an ant, he would not show mercy. However, his expression changed in the next moment. Wait. That flame? His face became extremely frightened, and his body began to tremble. The monstrous sea of fire that rushed out of his body dimmed in an instant, and was about to be extinguished. It was as if he was a subject worshipping the emperor. What was going on? Damn it. Attack for me. Elixir King he too was stunned. He could not use the 7 flames connecting sky that he was so proud of. Damn it. He roared angrily and activated the armor on his body to form a strong defense. He wanted to take the attack head-on. Boom. Whoosh. The soybean-sized golden flame hit the armor and suddenly exploded, turning into a golden sea that covered the sky and enveloped Elixir King he Tuesday. In the next moment, Pill King he too let out a blood-curdling scream as he was sent flying. His entire body was pitch black, and his hair was standing on end. He looked extremely wretched. The surrounding Pill Kings opened their mouths wide, and their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. What's going on? Pill King he too was defeated? This was impossible. How could Master be defeated? Pill Monarch he Tu's disciple was stunned. Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus were equally stunned. What the hell? How could he too be defeated? The pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion was stupefied. The group of elders was stupefied. Qi Siyu was similarly stunned. The geniuses of the major clans in the distance were also stunned. For a time, the entire hall was silent. Who are you? Pill King he Tu's voice trembled. No one knew that his armor had been shattered. This was a top-grade armor. Furthermore, it was most adept at defending against fire-type attacks. But now, a small flame had shattered it. What was even more frightening was that he couldn't even unleash the slightest bit of fire attribute power in front of that ball of flame. What kind of flame was that? Damn brat. How dare you use such a despicable method to attack my master? I'll kill you. Pill King he Tu's disciple roared and charged forward. However, he was slapped into the ground in mid-air. Pill King he too slapped his disciple to the ground and said coldly, "Get out of my sight, you idiot." Master? The young man was stupefied. Pill King he too snorted and knelt down to apologize. Plop. The young man knelt on the ground, trembling. He knew how hot-tempered his master was. The others were also stunned. Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus were also stunned. What was going on? Pill King he too. How did you lose? Pill King he Tu's expression was extremely ugly. He didn't answer, but he stared at Lin Xian as if he was trying to verify something. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. Remember a 7,000-year-old Heaven's End cliff. Didn't you doubt whether I could heal the Qi family's patriarch? When you go to the Qi family, bring this spiritual herb with you. Otherwise, I'll take your head. At this point, Lin Xian's aura suddenly became fierce. It was as if a peerless divine sword had been unsheathed, making everyone breathless. What a terrifying person. Everyone's expression changed. How could this young man's aura be so terrifying? Pill King he Tu's disciple almost fainted. He was too strong. He couldn't even withstand a wisp of his opponent's aura. Now he was grateful to his master. If his master didn't save him, he would be a dead man by now. A top expert. Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus pupils shrank. They didn't expect this young man to be so strong. At the same time they frowned. Being strong in combat didn't mean that he was good at alchemy. Otherwise, why would they need alchemists? What? You two are not convinced? Fine, I'll give you a chance. But if you lose, you'll have to give me a western scouring sand and a dreamy fruit. Those were also two extremely precious spiritual herbs. Some of the Pill Kings had never heard of them. What do you think, Red Lotus? Pill King Blackfeather asked coldly. Isn't it just a dreamy fruit? Although it's hard to get, I can still get it. Moreover, I'd like to see why Hichu was defeated. Red Lotus said coquettishly. All right, leave the western scouring sand to me. The two of them made their moves one after another. But soon, they experienced Pill King Hitu's despair. They also knew why Hichu was so shocked. In the other party's flames, they couldn't use their fire elemental divine abilities at all. They were completely suppressed. Who the hell are you? The two Pill Kings screamed as if they had seen a ghost. This caused the other Pill Kings to be stunned. What was going on? Even Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus were defeated. And they were defeated so thoroughly. A small golden flame was enough to make 3 ninth-grade Pill Kings so terrified. Who the hell was this person? Now no one dared to underestimate Lin Xian anymore. Because Lin Xian was really too mysterious. You don't deserve to know who I am. Lin Xian said proudly. Remember 3 spiritual herbs. When you go to the Qi family, bring them with you. If Lin Xian had said something like this before, the alchemists around them would have bent over in laughter. But now they didn't dare to. They were even trembling in fear. The 3 Pill Kings were defeated so easily. This meant that the opponent was absolutely terrifying, completely beyond their understanding. Such a person was like a legend, not someone they could provoke. The 3 ninth-grade Pill Kings smiled bitterly. They didn't expect that after spending nearly 2,000 years, they thought that they were at the peak of alchemy and had no opponents. Chapter 3161. Although they had to pay a heavy price, they were convinced of their loss. Don't worry, I too am a man of my word. When the time comes, the Heaven's End cliff will be yours. Pill King Blackfeather and Pill King Red Lotus were the same. They had been famous 9th-grade Pill Kings for a long time. Naturally, they would not go back on their word. Good. Lin Xian nodded. After dealing with the 3 extremely precious spirit herbs, Lin Xian turned his head and looked into the distance. With a wave of his hand, countless sword qi intertwined in the air, forming the names of the spirit herbs one after another. In the next moment, Lin Xian's voice sounded. I know that many of you have a good relationship with the 9 super clans, and even the Qin family. I have suppressed Qin Rufing's soul, and told Qin Jia to bring the spirit herbs to me. See clearly, these are the spirit herbs. Tell the Qin family to be prepared. Otherwise, I will take Qin Rufing's life. The entire hall was shocked again. The geniuses and disciples of the super clans were stunned. Previously, they thought that Lin Xian was only joking. They did not expect that Lin Xian would really do it. They looked at the names of the spirit herbs in the sky and quickly memorized them. The alchemists around them were also stunned. What was going on? What Qin Rufeng? After a brief understanding, they swallowed their saliva. Many alchemists began to tremble. This was a god of death. He too and the other 2 9th-grade Pill Kings were also shocked. Firstly, they were shocked by Lin Xian's methods and strength. He was too strong. He even dared to provoke the Qin family and the 9 super clans. At the same time, they were even more shocked because there were too many spirit herbs in the sky. There were only 100 of them. Moreover, these spirit herbs were very precious. This kid must be collecting spirit herbs to refine some kind of elixir. But what kind of elixir would require so many materials? They found it hard to believe. They felt that this elixir was beyond their knowledge. What a mysterious young man. The 3 9th-grade Pill Kings shook their heads. They did not want to think about it anymore. I will give the Qin family 10 days to prepare. 10 days later, come to the Qin family to see me. Lin Xian's figure flashed and disappeared into the sky. His voice reverberated in the hall. Was there going to be an earthquake? The Qin family would definitely not let this matter rest. The same went for the 9 super clans. The genius disciples in the hall quickly left the place. Some of them went to inform the Qin family, while others frantically collected information on Lin Xian. Who was it that dared to be so arrogant? Pill King he too and the other two also took a deep breath. Let's go. Pill King Blackfish smiled wryly. Of course, I promised you a cleansing creek muslin. That's not easy to find. Pill King Red Lotus smiled bitterly as well. Her enchanting face was filled with bitterness. She also agreed to a dreamy fruit. It seemed that he would have to put in a lot of effort to get it. These alchemists also left one after another. There was no need to think. From today onwards, Return Cloud Planet's alchemy world would definitely stir up a storm. Because of Lin Xian's powerful arrival, these alchemists went crazy. After everyone left, the pavilion master of Tianfeng Pavilion asked in a trembling voice. Second miss, who is this young master Lin? Him. Qi Siyu shook her head slightly. I don't know either. But in her heart she was amazed. This must be a legend. Lin Xian gave her too much of a shock. Today he fought with 3 ninth-grade Pill Kings and defeated them easily. This scene shocked Qi Siyu. This was not something a 9th-grade Pill King could do. Only a half-step Pill Saint who surpassed a 9th-grade Pill King, or a true Pill Saint, could do it. Lin Xian had reached a height she could only look up to. At the same time, she was wild with joy. The stronger Lin Xian was, the more likely it was that their patriarch's injury could be cured. Therefore, Qi Siyu decided to stand firmly on Lin Xian's side in the future. She would not let Lin Xian suffer the slightest bit of harm. Nailin Yanran and the others were also stunned. Previously, Lin Xian was already very powerful in their hearts. However, today's scene made them realize that Lin Xian was like a mystery. The closer they got, the more they could not see clearly. A bitter smile appeared on Nailin Yanran's beautiful face. Originally, she wanted something to happen between her and Lin Xian. But now, it seemed that it was impossible. Such a person was too powerful. He was so powerful that she could only look up to him. She glanced at Qi Siyu and sighed in her heart. Perhaps even the second daughter of the Qi family did not have such a chance. She wondered what kind of woman could be worthy of such a peerless genius. Lin Xian had left, but the storm was still raging on. What happened in Heavenly Square Pavilion spread at an extremely fast speed. In an instant, the entire northern continent knew about it. They were all shocked. Not only that, but there was also a storm in the alchemy world. A mysterious top alchemist had easily defeated 3 ninth-grade Pill Kings. This news stunned them. After the Chen family received the news, they went completely crazy. Chen Ruffing was the hope of the Chen family. He was a top genius who could enter the ancient path of the starry sky in the future. Who dared to touch him? No one in the entire northern continent dared to touch him. But now, Chen Ruffing's physical body was destroyed and his soul was suppressed. He could even be killed at any time. This was unacceptable to the Chen family. Damn it, we must catch the culprit. Tear him into pieces. The Chen family's experts roared crazily. However, some elders shook their heads. No, we can't be rash. Feng Er's soul is still in the hands of the culprit. If we act rashly, the culprit will directly kill Feng Er's soul. In that case, Feng Er will be completely killed. He will never be able to be resurrected. This is not the outcome we want to see. Yes, that's right. We have to save Feng Er first before tearing that kid into pieces. The Chen family's experts discussed quickly. The Chen family's patriarch, a very dignified middle-aged man, said coldly, "Let's work together with the 9 great families." Didn't he want the spiritual medicine? Then let's get him the medicine. Let's see if he has the life to enjoy it. Hearing the Chen family's patriarch's words, the experts' lips curled into a sinister smile. They knew that the kid who provoked them was dead meat. Even if he had the Qi family's help, it would not be enough. In order to avoid trouble and the Qi family's interference, they had to quickly work together with the 9 great families. After collecting all the spiritual medicine he needs, we'll send a large group of experts to secretly kill him. As long as that kid hands over Feng Er's soul, we'll kill him mercilessly. Soon, the Chen family's patriarch and the 9 great families' elders and experts met secretly. The 9 great families frantically collected those spiritual medicine. Under such a frenzied collection, all the spiritual medicine that Lin Xian needed were collected. Chapter 3162. Family Head Chen, what should we do? The elders of the 9 families asked. Family Head Chen sneered. Of course, they would send a large group of experts to attack him. Judging from his appearance, he should be a top expert at the king level, and he had a good relationship with the Qi family. There should be other experts guarding him. But so what? This time the people we sent out were absolutely rude. Even if there were experts from the Qi family, they could kill him in one blow. By then, would the Qi family start a war with them for a dead person? How many experts would Family Head Chen send? The elders of the 9 families asked. Family Head Chen said coldly, I will send 10 experts at the great fulfillment of the invincible realm, and I will lead the team personally. The elders of the 9 super clans were stunned for a moment before they sucked in a cold breath of air. That was a big deal. 10 experts at the great fulfillment of the invincible realm, and Family Head Chen himself was a top expert. This battle prowess could be said to be extremely strong. No one in the younger generation could resist them. Great. The 9 families will send 50 experts at the great fulfillment of the invincible realm, the elders said with a smile. Family Head Chen nodded slightly. Good, then we will go back and gather the experts. A day later, 50 experts at the great fulfillment of the 9 families appeared in the Chen family. Family Head Chen led 10 experts at the great fulfillment of the invincible realm. In front of them, there was a purple spiritual boat that was emitting a mysterious light. This spiritual boat was called the Hidden Spiritual Boat. It could be hidden in the void, and the invincible realm experts could not detect it. By then, you will hide in the Hidden Spiritual Boat and follow me. After I exchange Feng Er's soul, we will kill him. Great. The experts of the 9 families all laughed. With the Hidden Spiritual Boat, that kid would not be able to detect it. When they attacked, even if that kid had 100 lives, it would not be enough to kill him. Hee, this kid provoked us again. This time, let's see how he will die. Humph, it's not that easy for him to die. We must skin him alive and torture him for 100 years. I want him to know the consequences of going against us. Family Head Chen's expression was extremely cold. In the next moment, all the experts boarded the Hidden Spiritual Boat, while Family Head Chen rose into the air and flew away. Tianfeng Pavilion. Lin Xian was cultivating in a secret room when his brows suddenly twitched. Because his soul perceived that a flying sword was descending from the sky and heading straight for Tianfeng Pavilion. Wang. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. A huge golden hand formed above the Tianfeng Pavilion and grabbed the flying sword. In the next moment he disappeared. In the secret chamber, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. In front of him was a black flying sword with a jade slip on it. Zhang Xian sent his primordial spirit into the jade slip and received a set of information. 1,000,000 miles away, in the Divine Wolf Valley, they were exchanging spirit medicines and Feng Er's soul. Lin Xian smiled when he heard the news. He knew that it was probably someone from the Qin family. Who would have thought that the Qin family would have such means? In such a short time, he was able to collect all the spirit herbs that he wanted. What an unexpected surprise! Lin Xian did not know at this moment that not only the Qin family, but the 9 great families also went all out and spared no expense to complete the collection in a short time. However, this did not matter to him. Because whether it was the Qin family or the 9 great families, he did not take them seriously at all. Divine Wolf Valley 1,000,000 miles away? Lin Xian soared into the sky and left Tianfeng Pavilion. He identified a direction and flew into the distance. 1,000,000 miles away, in the Divine Wolf Valley. This was a very famous valley. Rumor had it that back then, a monstrous great demon once cultivated here. In the end, that great demon king went to the outer realm, and this valley was left behind, and was called the Divine Wolf Valley by later generations. At this moment, in the Divine Wolf Valley, a middle-aged man in a black robe stood. He had his hands behind his back, his expression cold and his eyes flickering with a piercing cold light. He was the Qin family's family head. Apart from him, in the void near the Divine Wolf Valley, there was a purple spirit boat hidden. It was the Hidden Spiritual Boat. There were 69-star perfection powerhouses in the Hidden Spiritual Boat. A 9-star great perfection expert was already very terrifying and heaven-defying. If 60 of them appeared together, they could really crush everything. Therefore, this was also the reason why the Chen family's family had rushed over to exchange with Lin Xian. In his opinion, even with the Qi family's protection, it would not be able to withstand their thunder attack. Oh, here it comes. In the valley, the Chen family's family had raised his head and a piercing cold light burst out from his eyes. He sensed that there was an aura rushing over quickly. Not long after, a black figure descended from the sky and landed in the valley. You are that Lin Xian? Murderous intent appeared in the Chen family's family head's eyes as he stared at the young man in a red robe in front of him. That's right, I am. Have you brought the item? After Lin Xian landed, he asked indifferently. The elixir is here. I want to take a look at Fenger first. The Chen family's family had waved his hand, and a black ring appeared in front of him and kept floating. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian also waved his hand and a 9-story pagoda appeared in it. There was an illusory figure inside. The figure floated in the 9-story pagoda. When he saw the middle-aged man outside, he immediately revealed a look of joy. Father! Save me! Fenger! The Chen family's family head's pupils constricted. He did not expect that Chen Rufeng's soul would also be severely injured. At this moment he had become so weak. In the next moment, an extremely terrifying aura erupted from his body, and the entire valley trembled. A terrifying power enveloped everything. However, Lin Xian was not afraid at all. He said coldly, Why? Do you want to fight? Why don't you try? If you dare to move, it'll destroy Chen Rufeng's body and soul. Damn brat, how dare you? The Chen family's family head roared angrily, but he still did not make a move. Because he was not 100% confident that he could save Chen Rufeng. Moreover, he had already made arrangements. Now was not the time to make a move. Humph. He withdrew his murderous intent, and said coldly, Let Fenger go. Sure, but I want to test the elixir first. Humph. The Chen family's family head waved his hand, and the black ring beside him flew over. He was not worried that the other party would escape, because there was an inescapable ambush around. After Lin Xian received the black ring, he immediately probed it with his soul power. Then he nodded in satisfaction. The head was right. 280 spiritual herbs. Moreover, they were all very old and met his requirements very well. Lin Xian transferred all the spiritual herbs into the black earth, and then shattered the storage ring. In the next moment, he waved his hand and the 9-story pagoda shook, releasing Chen Rufeng's soul. Father! Chen Rufeng's soul quickly left and came to the Chen family's family head's side. The Chen family's family head heaved a sigh of relief. He quickly took out a blue gourd and carefully kept Chen Rufeng's soul. It was a spirit-nourishing gourd. It was a very precious magic treasure that could nourish a person's soul. At this moment, it was the most suitable for Chen Rufeng. Chapter 3163. Kid, how dare you hurt my Fenger and demand such an exorbitant price? Do you really think my Chen family is a pushover? Today I'll make you pay the price in blood. Oh, what do you want? Lin Xian originally wanted to leave, but when he heard this, he turned around and snorted coldly. Your son was the one provoking me throughout the entire process, and I was forced to make a move. Why, you want to stand up for your son? You? Lin Xian's eyes were filled with disdain. He could see that the other party was a 9-star perfected stage powerhouse, and his strength could be said to be very terrifying. But in front of him, he was like an ant. Seeing the disdain in Lin Xian's eyes, the Chen family's patriarch was completely enraged. Damn it, I'm actually being looked down on by a kid? How can I tolerate this? As the Chen family's patriarch, his status was extremely noble. And he's a 9-star perfected stage cultivator. How terrifying is his strength? Who dares to look down on him? Even the Qi family wouldn't dare to look down on him. Even Qi Siyu would have to respectfully call him senior in front of him. But now? How dare he look down on me? The Chen family's patriarch felt like his lungs were about to explode. He was so angry that he laughed. Good kid, you're really arrogant. No wonder you dare to go against my Chen family. However, you're too reckless. Do you really think I came here on my own? Oh, do you still have helpers? Then hurry up and call them out. Lin Xian wasn't surprised at all. He had long seen that there was a spirit boat hidden in the void outside. Although it was hidden very well, and no one in the King realm knew about it. However, Lin Xian's soul was extremely powerful. In addition, the heavenly secret divine eyes were unparalleled, so he had long seen through it. However, with his strength he wasn't afraid at all. As long as it wasn't a true half-sage or sage, no one could defeat him. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. The Chen family's patriarch waved his hand and said coldly, "Come in." In the distance, the void broke open, and a purple spirit boat rushed in and suspended above the valley. In the next moment, the door of the spirit boat opened, and figures floated in the void like gods and demons. They descended quickly. Boom, boom. The earth trembled and the void shattered. One figure after another descended from the sky, bringing with them a terrifying force. 1, 2, 3, and so on. There were a total of 60 figures, and each of them had an aura that coiled around them like a dragon. With a raise of his hand, he could shatter the void. 69 star perfection experts. Including the Chen family's patriarch, there were 61 of them. This was definitely an incomparably terrifying force. Most likely, anyone here would be scared **+. Brat, I know that you have a good relationship with the Qi clan. Let the hidden experts of the Qi clan come out. The patriarch of the Chen clan said loudly. With 60 perfect earthly sovereigns standing beside him, he was very confident that he could control the entire situation. Lin Xian was also surprised. He had not expected that there would be 60 great fulfillment experts hidden in the spirit boat. In the next moment, his gaze turned gloomy, and a biting cold killing intent burst out from his eyes. It seemed that the other party did not intend to let him live. If he wasn't strong enough, he probably wouldn't have been able to escape today. Since the other party wanted to kill him, then don't blame him. An expert from the Qi clan? There are no Qi clan experts. I came here myself. Lin Xian shook his head slightly. What? As soon as he said that, the 60 perfect earthly sovereigns opposite him were stunned. The patriarch of the Chen clan was also stunned. Then he looked up to the sky and laughed. Brat, I don't know if you're really an idiot or just too confident. How dare you come here alone? If that's the case, then kneel on the ground obediently. Not only him, but the experts behind him also laughed. How could a young brat come here alone and face so many of them? How could he possibly survive? Any one of them would probably be able to crush him. The best thing for him to do now was to kneel down obediently, kowtow, admit his mistake, and beg for mercy. However, even so, they would not let him go. They would use the cruelest method to torture him to death. Brat, don't worry, we won't kill you. We have 1,000 ways to make you suffer a fate worse than death. Humph, how dare you kill the geniuses of the 9 super clans. Today you won't be able to leave. Those experts snorted coldly. The patriarch of the Chen clan also sneered. Now you know how powerful the Chen clan and the 9 super clans are, right? How dare you hurt my phone I'll make you pay a painful price. With just you? You still want me to pay a painful price? You really don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian shook his head in disdain. They were just a bunch of 9 perfect earthly sovereigns. What was there to be afraid of? One must know that he had comprehended 2 types of power that were close to the Tao. Among them, the power of fire was close to the power of laws. This power had completely surpassed that of a king. No matter how many perfect earthly sovereigns came, they would not be able to compete with him at all. Therefore, in front of him, the 61 perfect earthly sovereigns were no different from ants. You're about to die and you're still so stubborn? Brat, it seems like you won't cry until you see the coffin. The experts of the 9 super clans snorted coldly. Immediately, 2 perfect earthly sovereigns walked out. Since you won't admit your mistake obediently, then we'll break your legs and make you kneel on the ground. Then, we'll cut off your flesh piece by piece. The 2 perfect earthly sovereigns revealed sinister smiles. They were not careless and attacked together. This was because they knew that the other party was definitely a genius since he could injure Chen Rufeng. However, so what if he was a genius? Could he beat the 2 of them together? Buzz. One of them opened his mouth and spat out a blood-colored wave of air. It turned into a sea of blood that rolled forward. The sea of blood was extremely terrifying. Even a 9-star sovereign would melt instantly if he touched it. The other expert stretched out a large palm. The clouds that filled the sky followed the palm and fell from the sky. It was like a world. The two superpowers rushed toward Lin Xian in an instant. Just the two of you? You don't know what's good for you. Lin Xian snorted disdainfully. His body shone brightly like a golden god of war. With a wave of his arm, boundless golden flames spread and turned into two large golden hands in the sky that descended from the sky. Boom! The sea of blood in the sky was shattered. The two large golden hands grabbed the bodies of the two perfect earthly sovereigns, and then slammed them to the ground. With a boom, the ground shattered and terrifying cracks appeared in all directions. The bodies of the two perfect earthly sovereigns were shattered, and they knelt in front of Lin Xian. You want me to kowtow and admit my mistake? Kneel in front of me and accept your death. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded. What? Seeing this scene, the surrounding perfect earthly sovereigns were all stunned. Their eyes were wide open as if they had seen a ghost. They could not believe it at all. How was this possible? The two perfect earthly sovereigns who were pressed to the ground screamed crazily. Damn it! Get lost! However, no matter how they roared and resisted, they could not break free. They could only kneel on the ground. A bunch of ants. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? All of you kneel and accept your death. I can leave your corpses intact. Chapter 3164. On the other side, the Chun family head's face darkened. Damn it, don't be careless. This kid is an expert. Let's attack together. Yes. This time, 10 people walked out. Each of them was like a mountain, with the momentum of Mount Tai. The moment they appeared, the entire space of heaven and earth froze. Heaven and earth quickly shattered. The 10 people took a step forward, and the void within a million miles shattered. The pressure was too great. 9-star kings could not withstand it at all. However, Lin Xian stood there with a sneer. His body was not affected in the slightest. A mere 10 people dared to be arrogant in front of him? One had to know that his 9-young divine body had reached the half-step sage realm. Even the power that was close to the Tao could not hurt him, let alone these people? Buzz. The 10 perfected stage powerhouses attacked. They used their peerless divine abilities. Terrifying energy filled heaven and earth as they attacked Lin Xian together. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian only said 2 words, annihilate. In the next moment, the divine abilities that filled the sky dissipated and disappeared without a trace. The 10 perfected stage powerhouses trembled and then exploded, turning into clouds of blood mist that scattered in all directions. What? They're dead. When the other powerhouses saw this scene, their eyeballs almost popped out. Many people were so scared that they wet their pants. The Chun family head and the elders of the 9 great families also felt their scalps go numb. Damn it. What's going on? Where are the 10 powerhouses? If they were shocked when Lin Xian made 2 perfected stage powerhouses kneel down. Now this scene directly scared them silly. They did not see Lin Xian make a move. Those were 10 perfected stage powerhouses. Even if he wanted to kill them, he should have fought until the heavens shook and the earth shattered. However, nothing happened. The other party only said 2 words and the 10 top powerhouses on their side were killed. There was not even a trace of resistance. Damn it. What divine ability did this kid use? Many people were terrified. The Chun family head shook his head frantically. Impossible. He can't be so strong. There's an expert from the Qi family in the dark. Once these words were spoken, everyone acted as if they were facing a great enemy. They all propped up their king's spirit domain. And some even took out more than 10 killing arrays, enveloping the entire divine wolf valley. Chun Rufeng said ferociously from the blue gourd. Father, don't hesitate anymore. Let's attack together and kill him quickly. When the Chun family's patriarch heard this, he flipped his hand and took out a disc array. Then he set up an array formation. He said, everyone, let's attack together. I've used this formation to isolate the entire valley. That brat definitely won't be able to escape. These people nodded. The remaining dozens of invincible kings walked forward together. This time they did not hold back. Even the patriarch of the Chun clan had drawn his sword. In front of him, Lin Xian also moved. With a wave of his hand, 2 large golden palms slammed down, turning the 2 kneeling kings into a bloody mist. Wang. Golden flames danced on his body. Sword come. With a cold shout, the endless flames condensed into a light sword, which he held in his hand. Chop. As he spoke, the flaming sword in his hand continued to grow in size. Like a flaming dragon, it slashed down. Boom. Flames surged into the sky, and a terrifying storm danced. The sky was instantly split into 2 halves. There were monstrous flames and terrifying sword chi everywhere. The divine abilities unleashed by the dozens of kings in the Great Circle were all incinerated and shattered. Damn it, how is this possible? Their scalps went numb. The elders shrieked as if they had gone mad. This aura. Their bodies couldn't bear it at all, and they couldn't help but want to kneel down. A power that was close to Tao. This was a power that was close to Tao. Finally, an elder screamed. What, a power that was close to Tao? These kings were all crazy. How could he have this kind of power? Who on earth was he? How could they not be shocked? One had to know that although they were 9 stars great perfection powerhouses, in front of a power that was close to Tao, they were like ants. They couldn't withstand a single blow. Only by comprehending the power of the same realm could they compete with the other party. Damn it, this was a figure of Gao Peng's level. These powerhouses panicked and kept retreating. Because not long ago, Gao Peng and the Nether King's performance in the Battle of Tianqiong Wind shocked the world. To them, a power that was close to Tao was the power of God. Who on earth was he? Which sect was this expert from? Chun family head, this is all your fault. What should we do? The people of the 9 superfamilies roared crazily, and they all looked at the middle-aged man. The Chun family head's face turned black, and he was so angry that his whole body trembled. How could he know that the other party was a peerless genius who comprehended Tao? If he knew, he wouldn't have dared to go against the other party. Fenger. Who on earth was he? Why did you start a conflict with him? The Chun family had asked quickly. Although Chun Ruffing was only a soul in the gourd, he was also trembling at this moment. Impossible. He was going crazy. The other party had comprehended a power that was close to Tao. He actually dared to go against such a person? How could he be so reckless? One had to know that the reason why he was so arrogant before was because he was a genius of the Chun family. With the full support of the Chun family, given another 500 years, he was confident that he could comprehend this kind of power. But now, the other party had already comprehended this kind of power, and surpassed him by 500 years. Chun Ruffing's confidence was instantly shattered. At this moment, when he heard the Chun family head's words, he shook his head. I don't know, I only know that others call him Young Master Lin. Young Master Lin? Hearing this, the Chun family head was stunned, and the surrounding experts were also stunned. They didn't know who Young Master Lin was. However, at this moment, an elder's pupils shrank. His surname was Lin? His surname was Lin. The person who defeated the Nether King on Tianqiong Peak was called Lin Wudi. Could the 2 of them be? Before he could finish his words, the other elders were already trembling in fear. No way, could the young man in front of them be Lin Wudi? Thinking of this, their brains were about to explode. If it was really Lin Wudi, even if there were another 100 of them, they wouldn't be enough to kill him. Are you Lin Wudi? Many people screamed crazily. Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Looks like you guys aren't stupid after all. You actually guessed my identity. What, you're really Lin Wudi? These elders were so scared that they peed their pants. Previously, they were only guessing, but now that they received confirmation from the other party, they were scared out of their wits. Run. In an instant, everyone fled in all directions. The legend of Lin Wudi had spread throughout the entire cloud-returning planet during this period of time. He was an extremely powerful supreme genius who defeated the Nether King. How could they be a match for him? Hence, in an instant, these people fled one after another. The Chun family head's pupils shrank as he grabbed the blue gourd and flew into the distance. Want to leave? Don't you think it's too late? Lin Xian snorted coldly. These families had gathered so many experts to give him a fatal blow. Now how could he let these people leave? Chapter 3165. In the next moment, the escaping experts all stopped in midair and looked at their own bodies in horror. All of a sudden, a small flame appeared in their hearts. Then it turned into a dazzling firework that enveloped them. Ah! Wretched cries rang out one after another. At this moment, it was as though all of these mighty full cultivation kings were being harvested like chives, falling one after another. The elders of the 9 superclans also died instantly. The head of the Chun family roared like a madman. 3 top-grade treasures rushed out from his body in an attempt to protect his body. However, they couldn't do it. The moment they touched the flame, they collapsed. No! Amidst his desperate screams, the Chun family had also turned into a firework that bloomed in the sky. In an instant, all the escaping Great Perfection kings died. 61 kings at the consummate level didn't even leave behind a single drop of blood. Just like that, they disappeared into the sky. Impossible. Damn it, how is this possible? I don't believe it. Inside the blue gourd, Chen Roofing Soul saw this scene and fell into endless fear. 61 Great Perfection kings. They were all killed in an instant. Damn it, who is this kid in front of me? What kind of demon did he provoke? No. Chen Roofing screamed crazily. He was extremely regretful now. Why did I provoke him? He's too strong. This is Lin Wudi. Even the Nether King and Gao Peng couldn't fight against him. Isn't the Chen family courting death? In the next moment, his soul knelt in mid-air and kowtowed continuously. Spare me. I beg you, spare me. Don't kill me. Spare you? Now you know how to beg for mercy. Didn't you want to cut me into pieces? Don't worry, as the instigator, I won't kill you easily. I'll make you suffer for 10,000 years. Golden runes flashed in Lin Xian's left eye as he activated his pupil technique. Ah! Chen Roofing's soul screamed as he fell into a spiritual space. Here, one day outside was equivalent to 10,000 years in the spiritual space. In this spiritual space, Chen Roofing would suffer all kinds of torture. This was the price he had to pay for sending experts to kill Lin Xian. Looking at the trembling and screaming soul in front of him, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He turned around and soared into the sky and left. Another 300 precious herbs were in his hands. He was one step closer to the Saint Breakthrough Pill. It's about time to collect those herbs. Lin Xian's eyes. He didn't forget that he had given Wan Gong, Hai Yu, young Master Shen, and the others. Not long ago he had killed young Master Shen through the air, intimidating those people. Thinking about it now, it was time to collect those spiritual herbs. Lin Xian used a formation to pass a message to Qi Siyu, who was still in Tianfeng Pavilion. Then he left. Fan. The Fan clan was also a big clan in the northern region. However, the Fan clan had been having a hard time recently. Because of a genius disciple of their clan, they had no choice but to collect spirit herbs. Wasn't it just a little brat's threat? What was the big deal? That's right, no matter how powerful he is, can he really contend against my Fan clan? Bloody Blade King. Fan. 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 They were very dissatisfied. However, Fanli didn't dare to stop. He could only use his own resources to collect the herbs. After all, the inexplicable murder of young Master Shen had caused him too much fear. But fortunately, he didn't care about the price and collected a lot of herbs. He thought that it should be enough to satisfy the other party. On this day, a silhouette appeared in front of the Fan clan, in front of Fanli. Fanli trembled. It's him. He's finally here. He didn't expect the other party to find him so accurately. Their family didn't receive any news. Even their family's guards and array couldn't stop the other party. It seemed that the other party was an expert. They couldn't find him. Young Master Lin, the things are in the storage room. Fanli carefully handed over the storage ring. Not bad. Lin Xian nodded. Okay. From now on, our grudges are written off. With that, Lin Xian disappeared from his sight. Did he leave? Fan Li and the martial artists beside him opened their eyes wide. They checked carefully and found that the other party had really disappeared. Who was this person? They couldn't even find a trace of the other party. Grandfather, sorry for implicating you. Family smiled bitterly. If he hadn't been so arrogant and offended Lin Xian, perhaps his bloodline wouldn't have suffered such a huge loss and wasted so many resources. However, Grandpa Fan was relieved. Li, you did the right thing this time. This young man is not someone we can provoke. Grandpa Fan had been secretly observing Lin Xian when he came in. But the more he observed, the more shocked he was. He found that Lin Xian was like a bottomless pit. They couldn't see through him. This kind of person was not someone they could provoke. Hearing Old Man Fan's words, family heaved a sigh of relief. Had they escaped this calamity? He wouldn't dare to provoke others anymore. Next, Lin Xian set off one after another, arriving at the other three great clans. The three families also collected the herbs. After Lin Xian took the herbs, his grudges with these people were written off. Lin Xian went to the 5 families. Now there were only 3 families left. Wan Gong, Hai Yu and young Master Shen. He went to the Shen family first. Lin Xian's body swayed as he flew into the distance. The Shen family. The security was tight. Since young Master Shen was mysteriously killed, the Shen family had been on high alert. Furthermore, the Shen family had sent out countless experts to track down and investigate the enemy's tracks. As for young Master Shen's words about collecting herbs, the Shen family didn't care at all. Who was it? Stop. Today, they saw a figure descending from the sky and walking towards the Shen family. Immediately, the Shen family's guards rushed forward. The Shen family owes me 100 herbs. I'm here to collect them. This figure was Lin Xian. After he arrived, he said indifferently, "What? Owe me 100 herbs? What a joke. Kid, do you know where you are? Who do you think you are? How dare you come to the Shen family? That's right. How could the Shen family owe you anything? So what if we owe you? Do you still dare to ask for it? Get lost. Otherwise, I'll break your legs. I'll make you kneel in front of the Shen family for 100 years. These guards were ferocious. They couldn't see Lin Xian's cultivation level, but they could see that Lin Xian was alone and his aura was not scary at all. In their eyes, what was there to fear from such a person? Moreover, the Shen family was so powerful. Chapter 3166. He third brother, you're right. The guards around him smiled sinisterly. Kid, you can only blame yourself for being so reckless. How dare you come to the Shen family to cause trouble at this time? Don't blame us for being merciless. The 6 guards pulled out their long sabers, and their auras exploded. Acting recklessly, Lin Xian shook his head and sighed. Then a cold light flashed in his eyes. Buzz. His gaze turned into a fierce sword aura, and pierced through the 6 guards. Puff puff puff. The 6 guards' glabella were pierced, and their souls were destroyed in an instant. Thud. The 6 corpses fell to the ground. Before they died, they heard the guard say, "It seems that young Master Shen's incident was not enough to warn you. Since that's the case, I'll pay you a visit personally." The 6 guards were dead, but they now knew that the person in front of them was so terrifying. And he was the one who killed young Master Shen. Could the Shen family fight against such a person? They didn't know because they were all killed. Lin Xian arrived at the Shen family in a flash. Ha! There's an array? When Lin Xian arrived, he felt a strong obstruction from the array in the air. There was even a terrifying aura around him that wanted to kill him. Humph! He snorted coldly and stomped his foot. Violent energy instantly spread out in all directions. With a crack, the array was crushed. Then he landed in the Shen family. Boom! The destruction of the array set off a huge storm. Countless strong men of the Shen family roared madly. Not good. The array is broken, and someone is coming. Damn it, what's going on? What's wrong with the array? Go and check it out. Angry roars and screams were heard. Soon they saw Lin Xian. Damn kid, who are you? Were you the one who broke the array formation? How dare you come to the Shen family to cause trouble? Men, kill him. In an instant, more than 10 martial artists rushed over. Their weapons flashed, and their terrifying domains soared into the sky. In the face of these attacks, Lin Xian merely stomped his foot. Suddenly, the mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. A huge crack flew into the distance, and the surrounding martial artists were all sent flying. In the air, all the attacks were shattered in an instant. The dozen or so warriors who attacked kept vomiting blood, their faces filled with horror. Too powerful. With a single stomp of his foot, the entire defensive formation was shattered. Furthermore, the aftermath of that energy had caused them to suffer serious injuries. This was a peerless expert. Hurry up and inform the elders. Countless people screamed. In fact, they didn't need to say anything. Countless old figures had already arrived in the distance. When they saw the huge crack and the broken array formation around it, their pupils shrank. Where were the enemies? Which clan is he from? They asked frantically. In their opinion, the only thing that could cause all of this was the invasion of an army. At the very least, it had to be an existence that was similar to their family, or even more terrifying. However, the surrounding people pointed at a young man in front of them and said, "It's him. Elder, that's him." What? Only one person? A young man at that? The elders who had rushed over were instantly stunned. Nonsense. How could a young man destroy our defensive formation? These elders did not believe it at all. However, the people around them were trembling. They saw it with their own eyes. A bunch of trash. Those elders snorted coldly. The warriors around them were basically guards. Although there were many of them, their strength was far inferior to theirs. Therefore, these elders did not believe it at all. They stared at Lin Xian. "Kid, who are you? Kneel down obediently and accept your death." There was no need to talk nonsense with him. They could just capture him and take his soul. An elder snorted coldly and reached out his big hand to grab Lin Xian. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his head slightly. 2 rays of golden light burst out from his eyes, turning into 2 golden sharp swords that slashed directly at the void. With a puff, the elder's palm was split open. Ah! Elder Zhang's arm was cut off, and he let out a miserable cry. The others' expressions changed. Oh no! An expert! This time they believed it. The elder who attacked this time was a peak 9-star. He was very powerful, but he was seriously injured in an instant. This meant that the other party was definitely an expert. Hurry up and take him down together. How dare he cause trouble in the Shen family alone? Did he really think that there was no one in the Shen family? These elders all surrounded him. There were a total of 9 elders. Each of them was extremely terrifying. The weakest one was a peak 9-star. There were even quite a few who had reached the peak. When these people attacked together, the people around them heaved a sigh of relief. That's great. With their elders attacking, let's see how the other party dies. Facing the 9 elders of the Shen family, Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back. He did not move at all. It was just that the golden sword that he had shot into the sky earlier was tumbling nonstop. Then it suddenly enlarged and turned into a golden mountain, pressing down on the void. The aura that it emitted made everyone tremble again. The surrounding warriors of the Shen family trembled and knelt on the ground. The expressions of the 9 elders also changed drastically. This aura? They were too shocked. This aura was too violent. It was so violent that they could not bear it. 2 elders suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and their bodies cracked. Who was this person? Just the energy shockwave from the other party's attack was too much for them to bear. If the other party attacked, wouldn't they be killed in an instant? Thinking of that, they were terrified. Stop. At that moment, another crazy roar came from afar. Following that, more figures walked over. This time, the auras of the people who walked over were even more powerful. There were white-haired elders and middle-aged men who walked like tigers and dragons. The patriarch of the Shen family and the grand elders had appeared. That's great. Seeing this scene, the 9 elders heaved a sigh of relief. With the patriarch and the grand elders here, the other party was extremely strong. They should be able to take him down. However, in the next moment, their eyeballs almost popped out. That was because the people who came did not attack. Instead, they quickly said, "Young hero, please stop." Perhaps there was some misunderstanding. Yes, young hero, why are you attacking the Shen family? The Shen family has done something wrong in the past. We will definitely change. What? The patriarch of the Shin family and the grand elders did not attack directly. Instead, they were apologizing. The 9 elders could not believe their ears. Their Shin family was so proud. Apart from some of the top patriarchs, they did not take anyone seriously. But now, they were lowering their heads to a young man. Hearing the patriarch of the Shen family's words, Lin Xian did not let the golden mountain in the sky fall. He said indifferently, "Previously, your young master Shen owed me 100 stalks of spiritual herbs. I wanted him to collect them, but he did not care. So I killed him to intimidate you. I didn't expect your Shen family to be so reckless and not take my words to heart. What, does your Shen family want to be exterminated?" Chapter 3167. What? It was related to young Master Shen. Hearing this, the surrounding people were stunned. An elder screamed, "Could it be that Shen Ke was killed by you?" Shen Ke, who was also young Master Shen, had suddenly turned into ashes. This strange scene had made the Shen family extremely crazy. They had been investigating all along, but they had not found out who the murderer was. They did not expect that the other party would take the initiative to come to them today. "Damn it, how dare you kill Kair? I must kill you." Many people roared crazily. The Shen family's patriarch and the supreme elders frowned, and a cold light appeared in their eyes. It turned out that the other party was here for this. However, the other party had killed Shen Ke first, and then attacked the Shen family. Did he really think that the Shen family had no one left? Humph. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and the golden mountain in the sky descended again. Suddenly, the void was crushed, and countless people below trembled. Those who were weaker had their bodies split open. Those who were stronger also kept vomiting blood. Not good. Stop it. These people's faces changed, and they no longer dared to have any killing intent. The other party was not an ant, but a peerless powerhouse. Even if all of them worked together, they might not be able to defeat the other party. Stop it. Don't go too far. Although my Shen family can't beat you, my Shen family has a lot of allies. Do you want to become enemies with the other 4 families? The Shen family had no choice but to form their own allies. Oh, you have allies? Lin Xian was stunned. The Shen family's patriarch said quickly, "That's right, the Shen family and the other 3 families are allies. If you touch the Shen family, you will become enemies with the other 4 families. The other 3 families will definitely not forgive you. Young man, if you leave now, I can let bygones be bygones. Otherwise, don't blame the Shen family for joining forces with the other 3 families to kill you." "Kill me?" Lin Xian laughed. "It seems that you really don't know what's good for you." He stomped his foot, and immediately, the ground under his feet shattered again. The entire Shen family, including all the buildings and arrays, shattered and turned into smoke at this moment. As for the others, their bodies were trembling, and they were no longer breathing. At this moment, they felt like they were on the verge of death. The Shen family was split open. The Shen clan's patriarch and the supreme elder screamed like they had gone mad. It was too terrifying. The other party had created such a terrifying scene with just a stomp of his foot. Even the Shen family was almost annihilated. They no longer dared to be arrogant in front of such a person. Lin Xian retracted his foot and said coldly, "What? Are you convinced?" The head of the Shen clan gritted his teeth and said, "I want to know why you are targeting my Shen clan." Lin Xian revealed a cold smile. He looked at a grand elder of the Shen family and said indifferently, "If an ant was arrogant in front of you, provoking you and insulting you, what would you do?" Since they were mere ants, he naturally had to kill them mercilessly. The supreme elder said subconsciously. In the next moment, his expression turned cold. "Could it be Shen Ke?" "That's right, you know the reason, right?" Lin Xian snorted coldly. The others broke out in cold sweat. It seemed that Shen Ke had offended this young man, and this young man was a supreme expert. The strong all had their own dignity. The might of the strong was inviolable. If there were other weak people who provoked them, they would definitely kill them mercilessly. They would be killed with a slap. Similarly, if Shen Ke challenged a supreme expert, he would definitely be killed by the supreme expert. Damn it, this Shin Kei is actually acting so recklessly. He even implicated my Shin family. After hearing the news, the Shin family's experts roared in anger. Previously, they wanted to take revenge for Shin Kei, but now they hated Shin Kei to death. It was because Shin Kei had provoked a godlike existence. Shin Kei was reckless and provoked the young master. He deserved to be killed. What kind of elixirs does the young master need? My Shin family will definitely help the young master to collect them, the head of the Shin family said in a low voice. They had no choice. In front of such a powerful expert, they did not dare to resist at all. Moreover, it was indeed their Shin Kei who provoked them first. The fact that the other party did not directly destroy their Shin family was already giving them face. No need, I will do it myself. Lin Xian raised his head and formed a seal with his palms. Suddenly, above his head, a pair of golden eyes suddenly opened. It was like the eyes of a god looking down. That gaze completely enveloped the entire Shin family. This is? Everyone felt that their souls were pierced. Their life and death seemed to be controlled by that pair of eyes above. They all knelt on the ground, trembling. Even the head of the Shin family, and those supreme elders felt their scalps go numb. Too powerful. Fortunately, they did not resist. Otherwise, the other party would probably be able to kill them instantly. After Lin Xian activated the heavenly secret divine eyes, he directly looked for Shin Quebec. A large family like the Shin family definitely had an elixir academy and an elixir warehouse. Therefore, Lin Xian directly collected 300 stalks of elixir herbs. After that, Lin Xian left the Shin family. After Lin Xian left for a long time, the head of the Shin family and these elders dared to stand up. They looked at the disappearing figures around them and heaved a sigh of relief. The others also felt like they had survived a disaster. Next, go to the Hai family. Lin Xian turned into a rainbow and disappeared into the sky. Unexpectedly, just as Lin Xian arrived near the Hai family, Hai Yu appeared. At this moment, Hai Yu became even more enchanting. She looked at Lin Xian, and the corner of her mouth raised into a cold smile. I have already collected the elixir herbs. Let's see if you have the qualifications to take it. Speaking until here, her figure flashed and rushed into the distance. That direction was just opposite of the Hai family. Lin Xian's soul swept over and felt the aura of a large amount of elixir herbs on Hai Yu's body. He immediately followed. He was not afraid of the other party playing tricks. As long as the other party really had elixir herbs, it was fine. After flying for about a few million miles, Hai Yu stopped in front of him. I didn't expect you to really dare to come. I don't know if you really don't know life from death, or are you extremely daring? If there's an ambush, hurry up and let them out. I don't have time to waste here with you, Lin Xian said coldly. You know? Hai Yu was stunned. Looks like you're not an idiot. But you know and still dare to come. You really don't know life from death. You think you can fight against me? Can you do anything to me? You're too naive. There's no need for my Hai family to make a move. Someone will be able to deal with you today. Oh, it's not the Hai family? Lin Xian was stunned. He originally thought that the Hai family had set up an inescapable net here and was waiting for him. But from the looks of it, it shouldn't be the Hai family. Then who is it? Lin Xian didn't care at all. Husband, come out. Hai Yu looked at the distant mountains and said with a smile. Husband? Lin Xian was stunned. Could it be Wang Gong? One family? But soon he realized that it wasn't Wang Gong. A green figure quickly rushed over from the distance. Soon, a person wearing a green robe appeared. This person's face was gloomy and cold. He looked middle-aged, but his real age was unknown. The aura emitted from his body was very terrifying. As soon as he appeared, he took Hai Yu into his arms. Chapter 3168. This kid? The green-robed man glanced at Lin Xian with a hint of disdain in his eyes. At the next moment he raised his hand, and a ball of green mist directly enveloped Lin Xian. Buzz. The space around Lin Xian quickly shattered, as though it was being corroded by the poisonous gas. Haha, I was wondering what kind of expert I was, but it turns out that you're just an idiot. You can't even dodge my attack. Don't worry, beauty. He has been poisoned by me and won't be able to survive. The green-robed man laughed. Can't dodge? You think too highly of yourself. Your poisonous gas won't be able to cause me any harm. A voice came from the poisonous gas in front. Then, a palm stretched out and tore the poisonous gas apart. He's not poisoned? How is this possible? The green-robed man was stunned. Haiyu, who was in his arms, also froze. She quickly reminded her husband. Husband, you have to be careful. This kid is very strange. The green-robed man frowned. He can actually defend against my poisonous gas? Kid, interesting. Which clan are you from? Tell me your name. I, the green-robed ancestor, won't kill nameless people. Green-robed ancestor? Lin Xian sneered. You dare to call yourself an ancestor? Hurry up and scram, or I'll kill you. Kid, you're courting death. The green-robed ancestor was enraged. He transformed into a beam of green light and instantly rushed out. A palm surrounded by green poisonous gas grabbed at Lin Xian's heart like a devil's claw. Umph! Lin Xian snorted coldly and punched out. With a bang, it collided with the green devil's claw. At the next moment, the green-robed ancestor screamed miserably and retreated. His entire arm was directly shattered. Not only that, the aftershock of the energy hit his body, causing half of his body to explode into a mist of blood. The green-robed ancestor was seriously injured with a single strike. Haiyu, who was behind him, screamed when she saw this scene. Her eyes were filled with shock. How is this possible? How can he be so powerful? She was very clear about the green-robed ancestor's strength. Furthermore, this green-robed ancestor was very fond of beautiful women. In order to protect her life, Haiyu had no choice but to become the green-gowned ancestor's cultivation vessel. She hoped that the green-gowned ancestor would be able to protect her. But now, in just one move, half of the green-robed ancestor's body was shattered. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was completely unaffected. Haiyu was alarmed by this huge contrast. This is the expert you found? You want to use such a person to kill me? Lin Xian looked at Haiyu and shook his head. This woman was too stupid. Haiyu's heart sank to the bottom of the sea. She was filled with despair. On the other side, the green-robed ancestor's body reassembled. His face was filled with malice. Damn brat, you actually dared to hurt me? I will make you pay a painful price. Don't worry, little beauty. I still have a trump card that I haven't used yet. He glanced at Haiyu, then turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. Kid, you're very strong. His physical body was very strong, and so was his strength. But so what? In front of my strength, you won't be able to withstand a single blow. Next, I will let you experience a strength that is close to the Tao. The green-robed ancestor let out a sinister laugh. Haiyu's body shook, and hope returned to her eyes. Yes, the reason why she joined the green-robed ancestor was because she heard that he had grasped such strength. Once this strength was used, it would be much stronger than Wangong and the Bloody Blade Monarch. It far surpassed the king level. After Lin Xian heard this, he revealed a trace of surprise. Oh, strength that is close to the Tao. You actually grasped such strength? Yes. That's right, this kid has strength that is close to the Tao. Hee, you're afraid, right? Kneel down and beg for mercy now. I will consider torturing you for a few hundred years. Otherwise, I will make you suffer for the rest of your life. Hope also returned to Haiyu's eyes. Kid, let's see how you will die this time. The opponent definitely wouldn't be able to block such a strength that is close to the Tao. Lin Xian was somewhat expectant. Then show me your strength. Let me see how much you have comprehended. Hearing this question that sounded like an elder asking, the green-robed ancestor was angered again. You're courting death. Since that's the case, I will show you. A biting cold green light appeared in the green-robed ancestor's eyes. Countless poisonous gas surged on his body. He opened his mouth and spat out a stream of dark green poisonous gas, which transformed into a dark green giant sword and flew forward. This dark green sword's aura was indeed different. It carried a mysterious and unfathomable strength. As soon as it appeared, it shattered the void as if it could corrode everything. How terrifying! Haiyu's body trembled, and she instantly knelt down. She fled into the distance as if she had gone crazy. Was this the strength that is close to the Tao? The moment it appeared, it suppressed her, and she couldn't resist at all. Thinking of this, her face was full of excitement. Then I'm dead for sure. That kid definitely won't be able to block it. She raised her head and looked into the distance. As expected, she saw Lin Xian standing there without dodging. He definitely won't be able to escape. Once I use this strength, he won't even be able to escape. The green-robed ancestor also laughed. In his opinion, this sword was enough to kill the other party. Golden light flickered in Lin Xian's eyes as he stared at the flying green sword. The power of poison? He could feel that it carried a monstrous poison that could instantly kill a peak powerhouse. It was indeed a power that was close to the Tao, but it was too weak. The other party's power was only equivalent to Jun Hui's. Compared to him, there was still a huge gap. In the next moment, he raised his palm and grabbed the sword with the power of annihilation. You dare to resist with your bare hands? What an idiot. Kid, I guess you haven't seen a power that's close to the Tao in your life, right? Let me tell you, this is a power that surpasses that of a king. It's very close to a half-step sage, yet you dare to resist it with your physical body? Who do you think you are? A sacred body? Let me tell you, even a sacred body will collapse under this power. The green-robed ancestor laughed loudly. However, in the next moment, his voice came to an abrupt stop as if someone had grabbed his neck. Impossible. His eyeballs almost popped out because the other party had grabbed the green sword that he had thrown out. The green sword flickered with the power of poison. It was covered in runes that flickered incomparably. At this moment, it was like a small snake that kept twisting and turning, as if it wanted to break free from Lin Xian's palm, but it couldn't do it at all. Lin Xian's palm was covered with the power of annihilation as he grabbed the sword. Then he activated his heavenly secret divine eyes to the extreme. In his left eye, the plenilune seed kept jumping. How could Lin Xian give up after seeing a new power? He had to quickly comprehend and analyze it. He wanted to strengthen his understanding of the world. Damn it, how is this possible? How could you possibly catch my sword? On the other side, the green-robed ancestor went crazy. Haiyu was also dumbfounded. She couldn't understand a battle at this level at all. However, the green-robed ancestor knew. When a power that was close to the Tao was used, apart from a true sage or a half-step sage, only those who had grasped the same power could resist it. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.